Few days, and it's okay. I'm here now. Welcome to the numerological, astrological, astronomical report with your girl, Sunshine Monio. So I haven't seen you guys since 519, so you already know we gotta play catch up with the numbers that I missed with y'all. And then we're gonna forecast for the weekend. I'm gonna forecast y'all all the way up until Tuesday, 527, 9, which is 599. And we'll get into those numbers in a moment. But let's start with 529. 20. We have made it to the third decan of the month. So now we're in this decan of creation, expression, and understanding. The Bina energy, emotions definitely here as well. So we're coming into that space as far as the decans go. Hey Leo, peace to CeeLo, peace. Um, and so coming into this decan, don't believe that we've transitioned anything too much yet. So we're kind of still in the energy of Anubis. We're actually here until the 27th. So that's pretty cool. Um I get to touch on the transition that we enter in on next Tuesday too, but we're not there yet. Let me stop jumping the gun. That's that Gemini energy. Hold on a second. So we're on the 520. 20 is wisdom in our cipher. So now entering this third decan of the month, we are exercising our wisdom in our cipher. This is the exercise of the knowledge, that we got to experience in the first decan. And, kind of, bringing to a close the fact that we have just experienced the second decan of the month. 2 deals with balance, order, justice, truth, interpersonal relationships and bonds, balancing the scales, finding harmony into your space. No need to apologize, Leo. You good? I missed a few of my streams too. We here. We here now. So that's what we have there with the 2 and 0. 2 also deals with chokma energy. This is ruled by Jupiter. We're in that space of expansion, joy, generosity. We go beyond the bounds and the limitations that Bina gives us. You know what I'm saying? Bina is that Saturn, that third Sephiroth energy. Yeah, that's where we're at with the Chokma. And that's all too. I'm trying to think what else I missed. Oh, 2 is also ruled by Taurus energy. This is finding that balance between the material world and your emotional self. Wealth and the different facets of love and forgiveness is definitely here. What you prioritize and what you value is also on the 2 in the realms of Taurus energy. So we take that 2. You guys know that we're in the month of 5. This is the month of enforcement. This is the month of Hera Kahuti or Jabor, whether you look at it from the Netarus or the Sephiroth standpoint. Thank you for the gifts. Oh, peace, goddess. I didn't even see you come in. Whichever way you want to look at that. So 5 is enforcement. You're enforcing your internal law. You have to have confidence and courageousness. You have to be triggered or motivated. Some of you guys get angry when you have to enforce your law. It is, sometimes it has to happen that way. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But 5, deals with the solar plexus chakra heavy here. During the month of 4, we dealt with the chesed. We dealt with the blueprint, our internal mayat. What was your internal law? What are the laws that people have to abide by when they enter your aura? What are the consequences for going against those rules that you have about, your space, your time, your energy, your relationships? You know what I'm saying? If you want to get on this ship, friendship, relationship, partnership, business ship, whatever ships that you have in your space, you want to get on these ships. These are, the rules. These are the laws. If don't want to abide by them, you guys have your own, reaction, things that y'all want to do. I like to kick people off my ship. You on the plane. Bye-bye. But some of you guys have other things. Some of you guys like to talk. Some of you guys like to fight. Sometimes, some of y'all like to get y'all lick back. I ain't with none of that shit. You just gotta go. But that's you. That's what your law is. And that's what you stand on. So now during this month of 5, we're enforcing that. You know what I'm saying? We're forcing that month of 4. Okay. So that's what the 5 is all about. 5 in numerology realm deals with, it deals with being adventurous and tapping into your curiosity. Now, when we deal with numerology, 5 more so has that vibe of Gemini energy, learning how to be focused while being adaptable, and flexible. Having that balance, between yourselves and stuff like that. Hey, Miss Sunshine, peace to the goddess. 5 in supreme mathematics is power. So it's still bringing us back to that solar plexus chakra energy, right? Being confident and courageous. So we have all of that in the 5. You guys know what the month of 5 is all about. So we're going to take that 2 and put it into the 5 that brings us closer to God. 7 deals with Libra energy. This is the Oba scales. This is interpersonal relationships, bonds, and contracts. Law, justice, truth, and righteousness. 7 in supreme mathematics is God. 7 in numerology is spirituality, getting in tune with your subconscious, going into a sense of isolation so you can learn more about your internal self. Thank you for liking the screen. I appreciate y'all. 7, yeah, I did astrology already. I did mathematics. 7 and the tree of life, as well as in the Netherus, deals with Heru, which is Netzach. This is victory. This is Venusian energy, the celestial designers designing the things that you want in your space. So you're going to take that 2 that you got from what you value, what you prioritize, your wisdom, what you got from the exercise of your knowledge, and you're going to enforce it, right? And when you enforce it, it's bringing you to the space of law, justice, truth, and righteousness. It's bringing you to the celestial designing energy, the 7, right? It's bringing you closer to God, your spiritual self, whatever, what have you. Of course, we want to give birth to the 7. Guys, no, you guys already know we're in the year of 9. This is the year of born in supreme mathematics. 9 in the Netherus is Yamoja energy. This is Cancer, which is also in alignment with the Sephiros. 9 being the Sephiro of Yesod. Also Cancer energy. This the celestial womb. This is how we give birth. This is the year that we're in. We're in the year of giving birth. And math and numerology, 9 is the number of completion and wholeness. We're dealing with the utopian energy here because 9 is ruled by Sagittarius energy. Now we come into the space of generosity, optimism, wealth, philanthropy, humanitarianism, traveling, foreign interactions, joy, sacral chakra, still bringing us to the reproductive system. All in all, this is the year of giving birth. This is the year of bringing things into a wholeness, to a completion that we've been working on for the past 8, now 9 years, right? We're bringing this cycle to a close. Now, I know some of you guys use different numbers because some of you guys are different years because y'all use different calendars. That's absolutely fine. Here, we utilize the Gregorian calendar because this is the life that we live in over here. And when I deal with when we speak on current events and the different things that's going on in pop culture, the different things that's going on in government, the different things that's going on in the economic realm, all those things use the Gregorian calendar. So they're all in the year of 9, whether you're in the year of 9 or not. So whatever year you want to be in, that's the year, that's the number that you're dealing with. If you want information on that, reach out. I got you. But that is in alignment with the fact that all these other entities that, are going on are in the year of 9. So that's what we use here. Okay. So this is the year of giving birth. So we're going to take that 7. We want to give birth to it. We want to put it into the 9. We're going to put it into the celestial womb. And what the celestial womb gives back to us is 1 and 6. So if we want to have that 7, we have to put the 1 and 6 together. 1 is Keters. This is knowledge and supreme mathematics. 1 is Aries energy in astrology. This is taking initiative. This is being the cardinal action, the initiator, the leader, right? 1 in I already did Keters. It's Aquarius energy, individuality, being revolutionary, being unique, all those different things. So you're taking initiative, you're utilizing your knowledge. It's a non-physical Sephira, right? So 1 and then 6 is Tiphareth. Tiphareth is the heart that's on fire. All of your other Sephiros, your energy centers, are connected to the Tiphareth, just how it is in your actual physical body. All of your organs are connected to your heart. Your heart has the arteries and veins, bless you, that bring oxygen back and forth to whatever rhythm your body is on, and that rhythm changes depending on what your mind is doing, right? If your mind is angry, the rhythm changes. If your mind is sad, the rhythm changes. If your mind is tired, the rhythm changes. If your mind is asleep, the rhythm changes, right? So that's the connection. To get to the God, you got to go through the sun. Tiphareth is ruled by the sun because that's associated with Leo energy when we talk about the tree of life and the Netherus. Now, when we talk about the 6 as far as astrology goes, that's Virgo energy, right? That's the Virgo house. We're dealing with health, wellness, daily routine. And doesn't that affect all the other energy centers of yourself with the health, wellness, daily routine? Of course it does. How you manage and schedule yourself, how you organize yourself, your moral and integral code, how you listen, how you speak, what you're teaching and what you're learning. That gives off the same energy as Tiphareth in your body. That 6, house energy gives off to the rest of yourself. That's why the 6th house is the house of dis-ease, because if you're not in alignment, with that 6th house, it brings a dis-ease to the other houses, the other parts of self. If you're not in alignment with your heart, it brings a dis-ease to the rest of your body, because the heart pumps not only for your physical self, but your non-physical self. It creates a frequency, right? So that's 6. 6 in supreme mathematics is equality. This is when we get into the harvest energy. Bless you, baby. This is when you get into the harvest energy. Still bring it back to Virgo. Like, what you What you put in is what you get out. Reap what you reap. You're going to reap what you sow. So like you're going to reap it. That's the equality in the supreme mathematics of 6. All right. So we have that 1 and 6 that the 9 gave back to us. We said, hey, we want to give birth to this 7. We want to give birth to the, the celestial design and what we're trying to create in our space. And the celestial woman was like, okay, well, you got to work on taking action on this 6. You know what I'm saying? You got to work on your knowledge on the 6, on this equality, on what you harvest, how you organize yourself, on your tippereth. And that'll bring us back to 7. So Tuesday was a day of 7. Tuesday was a Mars day. It was ruled by the solar plexus chakra, because Mars is Ogun energy. That's, all on the Tuesday. Astrologically, astronomically, what was going on was we were in a waning gibbous moon, still in that moon of cleansing tangible things out of our space. It was an Aquarius moon tropically. So our mindset on our home and family and our sense of belonging was being revolutionary. It was on that Keter energy. We were in Aquarius on the tropical and on the Vedic chart. So not only was our mindset there, but the actual actions were in alignment with our mindset with being revolutionary and unique and somewhat detached as well. We were in Pisces on the draconic space. So our spiritual experience on home and family and sense of belonging was on ending some things, while our mind and our events was being revolutionary. And that was all happening in the first house. So what was happening in our orc body. Okay. So you guys may have found yourself gravitating to some energy. I'm getting hot. Gravitating to some energy, some communities, just doing certain things that's never been done before. We also have the sun was in Taurus on the tropical and on the Vedic. So mind and body are both in that balance between wealth and love, what you value, what you prioritize, what you take action towards, all the fun things. We were in Gemini on a draconic chart. So all about being focused and flexible at the same time, community and communication. Your spirit is already taking that foot forward into the community and communication of the things before your birthday is 6/26/80. Okay, you got 688 standing on business. Peace to the goddess. But yeah, it's all about community and communication. Learn how to be flexible with the things in our soul experience. This is all happening in the 4th house. So it is going towards our home and family, feminine energy. As you notice, the sun has been in the 4th house. The sun has been in the 4th house majority of this year. So this year has been all about sense of belonging, home and family, feminine energy, maternal energy. You'll see women being on the forefront of a lot of things throughout this year, as long as the sun is giving us that 4th house experience of feminine energy. What life path? 6 and 8 is 14. That's 5. Then you got 1 and 8. That's 9. So you're a 5 life pather. 5 is power. That's the solar plexus chakra. That's enforcement. That's the Hera Kahuti, Jabora energy in the Sephiroth. So working on your solar plexus chakra is key. The 5th house is the Leo house. That's the confidence, courageousness, and creativity happening there too. And then 5 in numerology deals with being adventurous and curious. Who is it? Okay. But yeah, so coming back to the astrology, the moon and Deneb al-Jaldi were in conjunction at 8:19 p.m. The moon is 0.6 degrees south, minimum angle at 8:26 p.m. The moon is 0.6 degrees south. Observe at 2:26 a.m. with a 3.5 degree east separation. Now, Deneb al-Jaldi is a star in the Capricorn constellation, is located at the tail of the goat. It gives off the energy of Saturn and Jupiter. Saturn brings the challenges. Jupiter brings the expansion and the optimism, right? Dignified, pious, conservative, and happiness are the keys there, with moon and Deneb al-Jaldi being in conjunction on that day. The last quarter moon was at 7:59 a.m. This was best visible before sunrise. So now we're coming from waning gibbous to waning crescent. So now we're starting to cleanse the intangible things out of our space, like the mindsets, behaviors, habits, emotions, all that fun stuff. We did have opposition happening. The moon was at 26 degrees Aquarius, that 2-6 degree, finding balance on the tippereth and being revolutionary with it in the 1st house, which is our auric body when it comes to our emotions. And it was in opposition of the vortex. The vortex was at 26 degrees Leo in the seventh house. So what we were attracting in our space was in that, confidence and courageous and finding balance and harmony. So the moon's opposition with the vertex and Leo in the seventh house was definitely a divine alignment to the mathematics, right? Also Sappho, which is an asteroid that gives off the EMF of how we like woo, like, same gender, if you will. I got notes that talk about it a little bit more in depth because I not too keen on Sappho, but I got a little something. I got something. Where is it? Hold on, guys. I'm looking for the paper. Okay, so Sappho is talent with the art of words, poetry, how you captivate others, how you express your sexual self, how devoted you may be to your friends, attraction to women. It orbits the sun in 4 years, neutrality, intimacy, and kindness in the same sex association, in the same sex, period. Association with Mars and women, love for aesthetics, emotions and desires, and love, artistic and sensitivity, and how you manifest your sexuality, loyalty, love, and libido. And so, like I said, that has entered the Aries constellation. So new beginnings happen in that space. Also being motivated and triggered and taking action in that space is happening as well. So that's pretty fun. So a lot of readers are talking about new love, new romance. I see a lot of like music artists and writers and stuff like, I'm gonna write that book, I'm gonna get this album done, I'm gonna do this, do that. That's a lot of Sappho and Aries energy motivating you guys. So kudos to you guys being in alignment. All right, so Wednesday. That was the day ruled by Ogun. That's the day ruled by the throat chakra. You got Legwa, the god of the crossroads. Now we're dealing with, communication and planning and organizing, all forms of expression for real, right? And the numbers for that day was 521-9. So 2-1. Now we have wisdom, wisdom and knowledge, right? In supreme mathematics. 2 deals with the balance and the harmony and the justice. 2 deals with Chokma energy. This is Jupiter's expansion. And then 2 also deals with Taurus energy, what you value, what you prioritize, possessions is here. 1 deals with the Ketters, knowledge, taking action. So now we have the wisdom and we're taking action with it. You know what I'm saying? We have wisdom, we have the knowledge. What does that bring us? It brings 3. So Wednesday was the day of 3, which is expression, communication, and creation, right? 3 deals with the Gemini energy of community, communication, being flexible and focused, right? Intellect, being witty, finding that balance so that you don't become fickle and all over the place, but and also like, mean with the tongue. 3 also deals with Bina, which is understanding. This is Saturn energy. When we deal with the Sephiros or the Tree of Life or the Netarus or whatever, this is where we come into the space where we have the knowledge, we have the wisdom. So now we've come to an understanding now that we've exercised that knowledge into a wisdom, right? This is the in conclusion. This is the information that we start to pass on to other people. This is from my understanding, this is the advice that I have based upon my experiences. Those experiences was the wisdom, you know what I'm saying? And you have that experience based upon the knowledge that put you into those experiences that brought you to understanding, right? So that was 3 was an emotional day, we put it to the 5 because we want to enforce that 3. Of course, we want to enforce what we create, what we're expressing, the Gemini energy. we want to enforce it, right? Because that's what 5 is all about. It's Herakuhuri. We are in the month of enforcement. We are in the month of power. This is where we at. We in the Leo, Fire, Aries, Ogun month. So that brings us to 8. It brings us transformations, death and rebirth. 8 deals with Scorpius energy, of course. This is power, empowerment, sexual energy. Now, we do deal with the solar plexus chakra with 8 as Scorpio rules over the external side of the solar plexus chakra. This is when we start to manipulate things in our space, in response to, our gut, our fire gut, which is Aries energy. 8 also is standing on business. Business transactions, business moves, planning and organizing. That's 8 in the numerology realm. Leadership, management. 8 in supreme mathematics is building and destroying. What are you building on? What are you destroying in your space? 8 in the Netherus deals with Sebek. This is Had. This is splendor. This is Mercury energy. Now we're in the space of the celestial technicians. We're labeling and organizing things in our space. Paying attention to the details of the things when we're in the 8th Sephiroth. So the day before we were in the designer, now we're in the Sephiroth. So this time we're going from, we always start in the Ketter's knowledge and we bring ourselves down to the 9 to giving birth, right? So we're getting closer and closer to that day of 9, right? Because we know when we put the 8 into the year of 9, the year of giving birth, what is it going to give us back? 1 and 7. It's saying, oh, if you want to get to that 8 of building, destroying, transformations, how you label and organize stuff in your space, you're going to have knowledge. You're going to have to take action on that 7. Wasn't the day before the day of 7? Yes, Tuesday was a day of 7. Now we're taking action or having knowledge on the 7 to bring the transformation in our space. So that's what Wednesday was about, which is really cool because it was Wednesday and it was also ruling over the 8th number of Sebek, which is the celestial technicians. So that was, a pretty cool alignment there with the numbers and the day of the week. We had a Pisces moon. The moon rules over our emotions, our sense of belonging, our feminine energy. Home and family is big on the moon, and it was sitting in that Pisces energy. Endings. Hey son, peace to the goddess. The space of endings and closing things, because that's what Pisces is about. Pisces is about the things hidden beneath the horizon. The 2 fishes having that, you either swim along the tides and you're a pushover, or you creating tides and you're the manipulator. Again, when you look at the symbol of Pisces with the fish going up and the fish going down, the goal is to be the line in the middle, right? That's how you cut both of them in half and you move your way into, the Aries energy as you cut those fishes in half, right? You get out of that, I don't want to swim with the tide. I want to be across the middle, revolutionary energy, right? So that's where we were at. We were in that space of closing and endings, subconscious, hidden dreams, goals, agendas, Akashic records. So Wednesday was a great day of channeling and, all those things. We were in Aquarius in the Vedic chart with the things. So the happenings, the events was in revolutionary spaces, dealing with society, empires, things of that nature. While our mind and our soul was in Pisces, this was all happening in the 2nd house of what we possess and what we value. So a lot of things in our home and family and our sense of belonging is coming to a close and what we value. You know what I'm saying? So during this day and time, it's like a lot of things that you guys wanted in your space, a lot of things that you were prioritizing in your space. You might felt a shift, a transformation, again, being the day of 8, right? Hey, Israel, peace of the God. It might have been a transformation in that space. The sun is in Gemini. We have officially entered the 1st degree of Gemini. We start the day off at a 0 degree Gemini. So now we're in Gemini in mind and soul. So the tropical and the draconic chart are both in Gemini. A's energy, peace of the God. This is community and communication. This is being focused. Be mindful of being too fickle all over the place. I want to say I pulled out my paper for Gemini energy. Yeah, I did. So I'm going to read from the Kabbalah.com what Gemini energy brings, since we have officially entered Gemini energy on Wednesday. And today's Thursday, so that was yesterday. I wasn't too far behind with y'all. That's good. I just feel like it when I think about how many days I gotta do with y'all. Hold on a second, guys. My apologies. I be having notes all over the place. Where is it? Okay, yeah, being versatile, flexible, quickness of the mind, dexterity. Be mindful of being unfocused and fickle. And as far as Kabbalah.com, what they have to say about Gemini energy, Savan is the third month of the Hebrew lunar year and its central column of the air signs. This is this is mutable air, right? Yeah. The controlling planet is Mercury in Hebrew, Kokav. Kokav numerical value is Kaf Vav, which is 2-6. 2-6 keeps popping up. So, Miss Sunshine, I don't know if you're still here, but that's a 2-6 goddess right there. The Yud, He, Vav, He, or the Tetragrammaton, and the Kaf Bet are equals 22. The letters of the Hebrew alphabet together creating the most powerful and energetic combination. Mercury is the planet of communication, which means it has the qualifications of an electrical cable, telephone wire, a teacher, an advisor, a storyteller, basically anything that can transfer any information from point A to point B. Oh, you still in here? The letter Zayin created the sign of Gemini, and the letter Resh created Mercury. Together, these two letters create the word Raz, whose numerical value is 207, light, or Raz also means secret, Sod in Hebrew. Many secrets were revealed in the cosmos during the month of Sivan. Sivan is known as the month of Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah. The sixth day of the month, the holiday of Shavuot, is a cosmic day, which we finish the counting of the Omer and culminates to 49 days that we begin counting on the first day of Pesach. When the awesome light of freedom was revealed on Pesach, this light was given to us with no effort from our side. That is why we count the Omer to build vessels through correcting our actions that cause the light to be concealed. On the 50th day after Pesach, we reach the level of Bina. That's the third Sephirah I was telling you guys about. An awesome amount of light is revealed on this day, as it is the anniversary of when people of the world received the Torah. The energy of Zer Anpin, the endless light of Bila Hamavet, Lanitzak, when death was swallowed up forever, which resulted in immortality. The very same energy of immortality is revealed each year on Shavuot. The Ari says that whoever remains awake on Shavuot, engaging in Zohar study, is promised to be in total protection and safety until Rosh Hashanah. Geminis are intellectuals who have the desire to know everything and an unlimited curiosity to collect information of every kind. This is because knowledge is power, and the more information gathered today will make future choices easier to make. And the Gemini's need to collect information enables them to choose what is good and what is bad, what is right or wrong. This explains Gemini's tendency to jump from one subject to the other, and that is why, of course, they have many questions, doubts, and uncertainties. The end result is their reluctance to enter any sort of commitment. The solution for this personal obstacle is to find a teacher, someone that is able to give satisfactory answers to all questions. This will enable the Gemini to focus on one way, one God, which gives them a better chance to reach certainty. There is no greater teacher than a Gemini with a firm sense of certainty. As a communication sign, Gemini can be the perfect channel, one who can learn, understand, and teach. The ideal for a Gemini is to be the channel for as many people as possible, especially for those who are lost on their path, and help others reach their own personal certainty. The duality of Gemini is expressed in every area of life. They embody the ability to do more than one task at the same time, as well as the difficulty to commit in relationships. They have trouble with loyalty to one political party as a servant of two masters, and they tend to change moods, like the wind changes directions and strength. That is why Geminis can be a different person each day. And that's why the Geminis that we be watching on social media all day be having us on edge. Because they be everywhere, and they are a whole bunch of people. You said my sun, moon, and ascending is Leo. Oh, peace, peace. Hey, Patrick. Hey, Pooh Bear. I have a Leo rising, in my natal chart. In this moment on my progressive chart, I have a Virgo rising. All my planets are in Scorpio right now, but all those planets were in Virgo when I was born. My sun, moon, Mercury, and Venus all Virgo. My Mars is in Gemini. I still have my Gemini Mars. That ain't going nowhere no time soon. But yeah, coming back to the fact that we are officially in a Gemini sun. So our mind, the tropical chart rules over our mind, how we think things are, and the draconic chart rules over our spiritual experience. So our mind and our spiritual experience are in alignment with the energy I just read. Vedic chart, we are still in Taurus energy. Hey Denny, hey Virgo rising gang. the Vedic chart deals with our energy exchanges and the happenings, our body, and that's still in Taurus. So the energy exchanges around you is still in that fixed earth energy, moving slow and steady, because you know Taurus energy is slow as shit, but your mind and your soul is already ahead of the game, fickle, all over the place. Da, da, da. Find that line in the middle, y'all, between that air, that mutable air, and that fixed earth. You know what I'm saying? It will feel like, okay, the events of things is moving so slow, but my mind is everywhere, and that can lead to being overwhelmed and overstimulated. Trust, I know. My Mars is in Gemini. I know. Y'all be like, how she do so much stuff all the time? That's how I do stuff. I love you too, Denny. It's so good to see you here. Oh my gosh. And mind you, this is still all happening in the fourth house of home and family and sense of belonging and feminine energy, which doesn't have to always be in a woman vessel. Sometimes it's in, men do have feminine energy as well. Can be in a male vessel. It's however way they choose to deal with it and treat it or whatever. Some of them are like treating it like vitiligo and they're attacking their feminine energy. Some men are embracing it. Some of them are doing a little too much with it. You know, it's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we have both. Yes, both. Both in all things, all everywhere. So the sun entered the Gemini zodiac at 3:50 p.m. on that day, and then we entered the North American horoscope of the deer. This is swiftness, sharpness, intellect. The needs for the deer energy is grounding and needing to be on the go all the time. Again, that's in alignment with the Gemini energy. So then we get into today, because today's the 22nd, right? Yeah, so today is 5/22/9. 22 is a master architect number. Now we're in this teacher space. 22 pretty much self-explanatory. We're still in that space of wisdom, double the fun. But now we're teaching people with it. And at 22, you know, I don't know if you guys, some of you guys like to consolidate your master numbers. I personally don't, but you know, because I like to show y'all, I'm the goddess of the crossroads, I'll show y'all both. So you have the 22, the master architect, the teacher, but then you can also bring it down to 4, which is Chesed, which is the Mayat, you know, Mayat Sephiro or Neteru, if you will. 4 deals with sense of culture and supreme mathematics, culture of freedom, the foundation, because we build things on a 4, right? The brick is a 4, a square is a 4, you know what I'm saying? That 4 is a, you know, it's a stable number. Dependable, reliable, like, you know, we can lean on this. We can lean on this 4, right? So whether you have the 22 or the 4. So I like to take the 22. I enforce the 22. I'm a master teacher. I'm going to enforce that. Some of you guys felt the need to enforce what you know. Some of you guys felt the need to enforce your Mayat. You know, that Chesed, that 4. You know what I'm saying? Either way, it was, you know, we're enforcing that culture, that freedom. We're trying to bring in some type of way, shape, or form, right? 4 also deals with Cancer energy, because Cancer energy rules over the 4th house. This is emotions, home and family, intuition, your internal side of your third eye. This is the feminine energy, right? We come in here with that on the astrology level. So we take that 4, we put it into the 5, we enforce it, it brings us to 9. It brings us back to the celestial womb, the energy of Yesod, right? So today was a great day of manifesting, which is cool because today's Thursday. And Sagittarius rules over the number 9. I'm skipping numbers because, you know, 9 plus 9 equals 1 and 8, right? Because, you know, we added up the 22 or the 4 of today, and we put it into the 5. That brought us to 9. So we're giving birth as we enforce that Maya energy. Or we took the 22 and we added it to the 5, and it brought us to 2/7. So now we have that wisdom on that 7 energy. So once again, we're experiencing the 7. We had a day of 7. Then we came into 1 and 7. Now we're on 2 and 7. Now we're finding the balance with the 7. You see the pattern? So, you know, we have that there. So, and that still brings us to the 9. Okay, so either way, we're coming back to the 9. And we're going to give birth to the 9. And when we put the 9 into the 9, we get 1 and 8, which is the solar plexus chakra. Still bringing us, the 1 is the Ketters, right? The initiative, taking action. 1 is Aries energy. This is the fire in the gut that controls the mind, and everything starts with the thought, right? So you have the fire in the gut saying, hey, we got to do this. We got to get that done. Da-da-da. That's why everything starts with, I feel it. I feel triggered. I feel motivated. You feel it in the inside. You feel it in your gut. And what the 8 does is it builds and destroys. It provides transformations. It's in alignment with your sense of empowerment with that fire in your gut. Now, if you don't feel empowered by that fire in your gut, you're going to ignore what your gut is telling you. Yeah, I know people that be ignoring their gut feelings, and then they end up in crazy situations. You know, the transformations is more so diminishing their empowerment rather than, making it bigger the way the 8 would. You know what I'm saying? 1 and 8 also comes into knowledge, while 8 is Sebek, which is the celestial technician, right? When we deal with the Sephiros of labeling and organizing. So now you have the downloads that's telling you how to compartmentalize, organize, and schedule certain things in your space if you want to give birth to this 9, right? So we had the 5 and 22, or the 5 and 4. We were enforcing our chest and our mayat. We were forcing ourselves as a master teacher or whatever, finding so much law, justice, truth, and righteousness in ourselves that we became an influence to other people on this day of mastery. And we wanted to give birth to that. And we got back, okay, you want to give birth to that 9 that you made with that 5 and that 22, or that 5 and 4? Well, you got to work on your solar plexus chakra. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to, I went into a whole tangent about that the last day. It seems like I have a pattern here. I usually come on here and I talk to you guys on a solar plexus chakra day. And I give y'all the recap and the catch up. That's so funny. I guess those are the days that I'm feeling it. But yeah, so overall, it's a day of 9 today. Today is the day of giving birth. You know, 9, like I said, is associated with Sagittarius energy. This is expansion, abundance, philanthropy, generosity, being optimistic, the wisdom from the oracle and sages. 9, there's no number greater than 9. 9 is completion and wholeness. Like I said, 9 is your side. This is Cancer energy. This is the celestial divine womb. What are you giving birth to? We love it here, right? 9 is your Moja. 9 is Cancer. 9 is, yeah, we're dealing with your reproductive health here on the 9s, right? On this wonderful Thursday that's ruled by Jupiter Sagittarius energy. So this is the divine day of the sacral chakra. Today is work on your sacral chakra. In order to get to that sacral chakra of giving birth and born things through your cosmic womb, though, you need to work on that solar plexus chakra, that 1 and 8 that brought us here, which is your confidence and courageousness, right? So that's what we have there on the mathematics. It's a day and 9 on a Thursday. We started the day off with 31% wine and crescent moon, so now we're in the moon of cleansing intangible things out of our space. I was so emotional today, but it was a busy, good day. That's probably like the 4, you know, which was Cancer energy, how you look at it, and then, you know, bringing you to 9. We have we experienced like 3 9s today, because you put the 5 and 4 together to make 9. Then you got the year of 9, and then it brought you to an overall level of 9. So that's 3 9s. So that's 3 moments of your Moja feminine energy. So I did, you know what? I was crying. I had a moment where my mind was just drifting off, and I was having this whole like thing. There's certain things in my life that I'm worried about, and I don't like to cry, but I let a couple tears drop. They was quiet Indian tears though. I don't do all that. You unless I really feel it. I don't like do all that, but yeah, I agree. I definitely had like a little, had to wipe that up real quick because I ain't got time for that. But we started the day out with a wild and crescent moon, cleansing those intangible things. Moon rising at 2:45 a.m. and setting at 3:05 p.m. Excuse me. We are in Pisces on the tropical and the draconic, so mind and soul is in alignment with the endings, the subconscious, anything hidden beneath the horizon when it comes to your emotions. You know what I'm saying? So definitely deep in your third eye and your thoughts, as well as in your spirit. And the energy exchanges. We started the day off in Aquarius, but throughout the day we were in alignment in Pisces on tropical, Vedic, and draconic. So that's probably around the time you started feeling like the tearjerker, because the moon, because Pisces is so deep. This is the deep waters of Olukun, and you have the moon sitting there, and it's in the 2nd house, which is ruled by Venus, possessions in which you value and prioritize, as well as facets of love and forgiveness, wealth and business, right? Sunrise at 5:37 a.m. and setting at 8:14 p.m. We're in Gemini on the tropical and draconic, so mind and soul is on that space of being flexible and focused, community and communication, siblings, people in the tri-city area, in your neighborhood you grew up with. Intellect is heavy here too, curiosities, adventure, all of that is in our experiences and our thoughts and our spiritual self. But be mindful, because our energy exchanges and our happenings is still in that fixed earth of Taurus, right? Slow and steady. We're still learning how to move on that slow and steady pace, and having that balance of what we value and prioritize between the material and the emotional realm. And that's all still happening in the fourth house of home and family and feminine energy. The moon ecliptical latitude, the moon's ecliptical latitude is 0 and increasing at 4:06 a.m. This happened. So now the moon is currently on ascending node, so you'll see the moon going further and further in the sky. In this particular moon cycle, the moon and Saturn was also in conjunction today. That happened at 3:27 p.m. The moon was 2.6 degrees north. Minimal angle at 12:47 p.m. The moon was 2.2 degrees northwest, and we were able to observe that at 4:57 a.m. with a 4.1 degree west separation. It was pretty cool. You know, Saturn brings the challenges. Saturn gets to the root of some things, so maybe some like insight and, you know, all of that 9 energy, the moon and all that Pisces energy was bringing you down to the root of like really why you feel or think something, you know, even if it was just you daydreaming and getting to down to the root spiral of something, or you having a conversation of realizing, oh, that's why, or okay, that's the root of that, or, you know what I'm saying, one of those like kind of moments, or even just experiencing some level of challenges, challenges, to a discipline or order that you may have for yourself or that you have for other people in your space. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what Saturn rules over here. The challenges that give us the discipline, the order, the resources, and the survival of self. And so having that intuition and alignment of that space is what brings that on. We know Saturn is sitting over there in the Aquarius constellation, Pisces zodiac at the moment. Well, actually, I believe Saturn has officially entered. This is the tropical chart, I believe. No. Ooh, my back cracked. Yeah, Saturn is at 29 degrees in the constellation. In fact, by the time, we'll get there later. Hold on. We're not there yet. Let me pause for a second. So when the moon was at 29 degrees in Pisces constellation, that's when it crossed paths with Saturn today. The Shuba was in opposition with the sun today at 8:43 p.m. This is the best visibility of the year. The Shuba is the star in the Scorpio constellation. It has the energy of Mars and Saturn. So that motivation, that ambition, that trigger when it comes to the root of things, when it comes to challenges and all that fun stuff. And then remember, Scorpius is about building and destroying transformations and empowerment with that Mars and Saturn, right? This can also be a very violent placement because this star is about assault and mortality and shamelessness. The moon was also in conjunction with the North Node at 24 degrees. 24 degrees Pisces constellation, and the North Node is at 24 degrees Pisces constellation, both in the second house of possession. So, you might have had that intuition of, what direction are you going into? Where are you, having that level of insight of where you want those endings to happen, where you want to be at spiritually, getting in tune with things hidden beneath the horizon, just getting down to the deep waters of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like Saturn deals with the deep roots of the earth, the physical reality. Pisces gets down to the deep roots of the emotional, of the waters of it all. You know what I'm saying? A spirituality space for the waters. So having more insight on that, by the end of the day, be, cool for you guys if you guys are going that route with yourself, especially if you guys are a big daydreamer like me. That's all I do is daydream. I spend the majority of my day, I'm like Doug Funny, I spend the majority of my day in my head and I'm barely ever here. And these placements were in opposition with the South Node, of course, which was at 24 degree Virgo in the 8th house of transformation, building and destroying. So where we have come from in our space of how we've been scheduling and organizing ourselves in our space of education and communication, and we're moving more towards that spiritual route, endings, closings, things of that nature, as far as the South Node or North Node goes. So that's pretty interesting. As far as on the Vedic chart, the moon and the North Node was at like 29 degrees Aquarius. So it was in that revolutionary energy, while the South Node was in that 29 degree Leo vibe, bringing that confidence and courageousness, our heart, where our heart chakra has usually been at, versus, that revolutionary energy where we need to be at, right? Also, Pallas, the asteroid that rules over our genius-like qualities that we overlook, that has entered the Aquarius constellation. So we're being more revolutionary with those genius-like qualities. Society is starting to mirror them back to us. Aquarius deals with electronic communication as well. So engaging into the ones and zeros in the virtual realm. Well, probably while exercising, excuse me, I couldn't get that out. While exercising your genius-like qualities is a big thing here too. Um, Powers represents your talents in the arts, wisdom, defense, intuition, justice, and artisan endeavors. It shows where you are a master of negotiation. It shows relationships with your father and how you treat men in general. It shows the battle you choose and how you fight them. Palace shows how we battle with conflict, legal battles, and injustice. It struggles with illness and immune systems as well. How we focus, strategize, find patterns, and inventive solutions to tricky situations, and how we go too far and cause damage or and learn our lesson. Or one's divine spare of creative intelligence. Oh, divine space, excuse me. I wrote really small on here. Where one's divine space of creative intelligence and higher wisdom may be springing forth. And it reveals our natural strengths in problem solving, strategy, and defense, which is, I think, what I said in the beginning. But it's entering Aquarius constellation, so we're being more revolutionary, and that we're expressing it in the ones and zeros. We're coming into society with it. We're contributing to it. So find out where your personal palace is and align that with the Aquarius energy. You know, what's the aspect between where we're at with Palace and the Aquarius constellations versus what constellation your palace is in, see how like they aspect each other, and that'll let you know how they're like, you know, flowing into each other, you know, supporting or creating challenges or frictions, or how your personal palace can contribute to the palace that's in this societal Aquarian energy, right? um the alignment of the crescent moon, Saturn, and Venus also happens tonight. So for my sky watchers out there, most likely you could see a little bit of that, at least of Venus. I think you can see Saturn right now too. Saturn is not like, you know, too far off, but I believe Venus is like moving towards like dichotomy or whatever. But hold on, let me double check myself. Nah, you should be able to see Venus because I said so. uh, yeah. Venus is located at the Great Square of Pegasus amongst Pisces and is pairing with Saturn, rising in the pre-dawn with Neptune in the far distance. So Venus is definitely visible. It's Mercury's in waxing phase, so it's getting bigger this month. Um, so that's fun. It's actually Jupiter that's going in our waning phase. So this month is the last chance to get a full view of Jupiter in the Taurus Gemini energy before it's out of sight in the summer, and you can find it among Orion's belt and Gemini and the Arga constellations. So that's fun. Anywho, yeah, you should be able to see the alignment of the crescent moon, Saturn, and Venus. You know, the crescent moon brings the insight. We're in that waning crescent phase, so we're cleansing. So we're cleansing our mindset patterns, behaviors, anything intangible, emotions to Saturn. Like I said, getting to the root of the things, the challenges that come into our space, discipline, order, you know, our survival of self. Wherever your Saturn may be at, you can align that with the Saturn in Pisces. I know on my draconic chart, Saturn is in Pisces, so I'm still kind of in my Saturn return when it comes to like the Vedic chart in alignment with my draconic chart, at least for now. We're almost out of there though. I'm a few days away from my Saturn return being completely over. Oh baby, I ain't going all the egg. I'm finna act up. But I think Saturn. But then we start dealing with our summer retrogrades, right? But it's okay. It's cool. It's cool. All right, let me stop reading ahead. Anyway, let me tell you, the Saturn return beat my ass. Y'all can have that. I was here for 5 years between my tropical, my Vedic, and my draconic chart. Where was I? That's what's happening. And Venus deals of course, what our place of possessions, what we value, what we prioritize. So, you know, getting some insight between that Saturn and Venus is definitely key. What I need versus what I want. Having insight with the balance of those two. That's what we're doing with that alignment. All right, so tomorrow, Friday, happy holy day. We're in that Venusian energy. We're all up in our heart chakra. We're all up in that net sock. We want the celestial designing. Venus deals with wealth. It's payday, creativity, and beauty. We get into the events. We're going vending. We are vendors. We're making stuff today. We're selling stuff today. That's the Venusian spirit, right? That's the day of 523-9. So now we have wisdom on our understanding on that day, right? 2 and 3. 2 deals, the balance, harmony, and justice. 3 deals with expression, creation, and emotion. Our Bina, you know what I'm saying? So we had Chokma and Bina. We have our second and third Sephiroth together, and that brings us to 5, which is Enforcer. So tomorrow, Venus Day, is the day of enforcement. It's the day of, Hera Kahuti energy, Jabura, which is, the solar plexus chakra. This is Aries Ogun energy. 5 also deals with Leo and astrology. Leo rules over the 5th house. This is, creativity, expression, our inner thespian, our inner dramatic, romantic self, all things Leo, loyal. Cool, calm, collected, a little bit out there at the same time. It's fire vibes on Friday, right? Whether you're dealing with the 5 of Aries or the 5 of Leo energy, it's all about fire, being motivated, taking action. We're pulling the Wands card on on Friday. Friday for the 5-day Friday, okay? So we're gonna take that 5, we're gonna put it into the month of 5. Same energy, you know what I'm saying? Still that number of power, so it's a very powerful day tomorrow. That brings us to 1 and 0, which is knowledge in our cipher and supreme mathematics. 10 in the Sephiros deals with Jeb, Malkuth energy. That's when we're in our earthly self. We're in the earthly realm. Right now, because the sun is in Taurus constellation, Earth is currently in Scorpio constellation. So wherever the sun is at, Earth is in opposition, right? So right now we're having, transformations, empowerment, building, secrets coming out, dramatics. The Pluto's associated with Oya, that's Scorpio energy. Oya ruled over the elders and the witches. She could be a little extra dramatic. We know Oya and Ogun were lovers. Oya was Shango's favorite wife, I believe. Excuse me to the diviners in the back if I misspoke. But yeah, she's dramatic, and she's the mother, because she had like 9 miscarriages and ended up having 9 children. So she's in the 9s, right? But yeah, so we're in the 10. So we're in our earthly self. We're in our Malkuth, our Jeb, being present physically here in that Scorpius energy. Now, 10 is cool. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the Tree of Life. If not, Google it. When you Google the Tree of Life, you'll notice that the branches and the trees and stuff going upward mirror the branches and the trees going downward. When you get into Sefer Yetzirah, which is something that I really, really, really want to get some brain space to start reading with you guys again. It's like when I get off of work, I don't want to do anything. And that's something that I was really, really trying to avoid working full time, was coming home and not having mind space for, my business and the things that I do. But working on it. Anyway, when you get into Sefer Yetzirah, you'll realize that this upper body mirrors your lower body, you know what I'm saying, internally, visually, and in action, you know what I'm saying. So it's like as above, so below type energy, right? That you see when you look at the Tree of Life. And that's what the 10 and the 1 is like, right? Because you have the knowledge in your cipher, but 1 plus 0 equals 1. So that brings you back to knowledge. So not only are you in 10 and Jeb in the earthly realm, but you bring it back into 1, which is the Ketters, which is the non-physical, Sephiroth, bringing you back into spirituality. When you get into Ketters in the 1s, there is no good or bad, right or wrong, limitations, discernment and discipline. It's nothing. It's everything. This is why people come into that space like, why when people be doing evil and they be doing wrong and they be doing bad and they still get what they want? Because the universe doesn't know right from wrong, good or bad. The universe goes where it's called. It's energy. It's physics. It's not, our moral and integral goal comes from our Bina, our understanding. That's the third Sephiroth. You got to come from the wisdom to get to the understanding. Then you're in the space of limitations and restrictions and good and bad, right or wrong, what we stand under, law and order, challenges, discipline, and all that stuff. Now you're in the Saturn energy. But when you get to the Chokma, you start to release a lot of that, because that's Jupiter, has expansion and abundance. I know y'all know the stories of Jupiter and Zeus. Mans was out here spreading his seeds all over the place, you know what I'm saying? But that's in alignment. That those stories are personifications of your energy centers. You know what I'm saying? We know what happens when we are too engulfed in our sacral chakra. You know what I'm saying? We lose sight of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We get into obsessions and addictions. You know, we overindulging in our sensual self, our sexual self, whatever what have you, because there are no bounds there. And then when we get into Ketters, we're just completely out of the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? We're completely into the non-physical energy. It's straight physics, quantum physics up there. You know what I'm saying? We're not down here in these boundaries and stuff. So I don't know how we got there, but we got there. So let's bring it back. And that's the connection between the 1 and the 10, right? So, you know, we're going from one extreme to another. You're welcome, son. So now we take that 1 and we put it to the year of 9, because of course we want to give birth to this 1 that we've created with, you know, the 5 and 5 and all that fun stuff. And when we put the 1 to the 9, it brings us back to 10. It brings us back to our earthly self. Overall, we have now, on Friday, we will be entering the day of 1. So now we're in the Ketters. Now we're in knowledge. Now we're in taking initiative. You know, 1 is ruled by Aries Ogun energy. That's the solar plexus chakra. That's cardinal fire. New beginnings, right? Motivation. Being methodical, right? Because the gut controls the mind, and the gut and everything starts with the thought. You want to be methodical here. Aries energy also deals with like militant energy, which is also methodical, taking action, being militant, enforcing things in your space, right? Yeah. 1 is knowledge and supreme mathematics. 1 is Ketters. Ketters is associated with Aquarius energy, and when we get to the Sephiros, in the tree of life, and that's revolutionary, right? I just did a whole spiel on the 1, so I don't feel the need to do it again. You guys are here. So that's the 1. Tomorrow is the day of 1, and we move in gratitude. Now, we start the day off with a 20% waning crescent moon. We're still in that moon of cleansing intangible things out of our space. Moon rising at 3:09 a.m. and setting at 4:20 p.m. We are in Aries in the tropical and in the draconic. So the moon is in alignment with the mathematics. Like I said, Aries Ogun energy rules over 1. That's the first house. So, you know, new beginnings on our intuition. The moon deals with home and family, feminine energy, intuitive space, emotions. That's all happening in the second house of what we prioritize and value in that home and family emotional self. Energy exchanges, the moon is still in Pisces energy. So it's going to be in that space of endings and closings and finding out what's hidden beneath the horizon, while our mind and our spirit is on the new beginnings and, you know, generating what's going to enter the space as we're physically removing what's getting out of our space, being in that waning crescent moon. Sunrise at 5:37 a.m., setting at 8:15 p.m. We are in Gemini in the tropical and the Vedic again, of course. So, you know, communication, being focused, all that. Intellect, we're now in the space of intellect, so you guys should be exercising your mind, learning something, studying something, you know, finding a sense of focus of what you want. I'm having trouble. I'm pulling a Hierophant card on me. I need help. I got all these options, and I'm just like, I know for a fact I need to focus and hone in on something so that I can get what I want, because I am a manifester. I'm a master 11 manifester at that. So when I focus, I know I'm going to get what I want, but it's just like, what do I want? I'm trying to be practical, but also be in my desires at the same time. But that's like 3 or 4 different things. So yeah, pulling a Hierophant card on myself. Somebody want to do a reading for reading? Help us sister out. And our energy exchanges, we are at a 7-degree Taurus, and since we are caught up to date, let me get y'all into the what nakshatra that is. The moon, rewind. The moon, we start off at a 12 degrees Pisces, so the moon will be in the 26th lunar mansion. That's the Uttada Bhadrapada nakshatra, and that goes from 3 degrees to 16 degrees Pisces. So by the end of the day, we'll be in the 26th and 27th lunar mansion between the Uttada Bhadrapada and the Revati nakshatra. Some positive traits about the 26th lunar mansion is being controlled, intelligent, generous, a great speaker, prosperous, virtuous, and servicing. Some negative traits to look out for is being unenthusiastic, self-centered, lazy, a gossiper, irresponsible, or highly emotional. As far as the 27th lunar mansion, which will end up towards the end of the day, some positive traits is being intelligent, wealthy, charming, independent, creative, sociable, and selfless. Some negative traits is being overindulgent, unfriendly, immoral, and lack of self-esteem. Now, as far as the sun goes, we start the day off at an 8-degree Taurus Taurus constellation. So we're still in the third lunar mansion, and we're here for a couple more days. This is the Kritika Nakshatra. You know, the sun or the earth moves a degree a day, so we'll be here till about Sunday, because we're here till 10 degrees Taurus. Some positive traits of being pleasant, physically attractive, goal-oriented, leader, straightforward. Some negative traits of being is poor money management, so be careful with that. Being untrustworthy, stubborn, and impatient. All right. And again, that's happening all in the fourth house of home and family, and your sense of belonging, bringing you right back to the moon. Paying attention and aligning that moon and that sun is very important. The sun deals with your external experiences, your masculine energy, how your masculine energy interacts with the masculine energy around you, while the moon deals with your introspection, your intuition, your introverted self, you know, your experience, and how your feminine energy interacts with the feminine energy around you. The moon and Neptune are going to be in conjunction tomorrow at 5:46 p.m. The moon will be 1.8 degrees north. Minimal angle at 4:40 p.m. The moon will be 1.6 degrees north-northwest. And we'll be able to observe that at 3:40 a.m. this morning with a 8.1 degree northeast separation. Neptune is all about the subconscious, dreams and secrets, things hidden beneath the horizon. We're deep in the old cool waters. And the moon is bringing that more to the surface, because the moon is your moja. And your moja is the surface of the ocean, while Olokun is the deepness of the ocean. So we bring those things from deep waters and bring it more so to our conscious, our third eye, so we can, you know, focus on it. So having that connectivity between your moon and Neptune is really cool. You know, bring some of those things up. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, with the moon being in Pisces on this day of 1. The activity of the May Camelopardalis begin. They're in the Giraffe constellation. That's a meteor shower that we have every year. The amount of meteors that we get, it varies year by year. I'm not exactly sure what we get this year. I'll let you guys know later. Also, Eros. This is another asteroid that we have in our beautiful skies. Eros is... what is Eros? Is sexual type, passion, attraction, what makes you horny. It travels mostly within the orbit of Mars. Sexual objectification, passion and desire, creativity, passion and physical. So I said passion like 3 times, right? I wrote it like 3 times. Recklessness and pursuit of desire, and creative passion again, creative joy. Yeah, it's very passionate over here. But that enters Pisces constellation. So getting into the subconscious of that space, that happens around 4 p.m. on Friday. So whew, that sounds fun. Shouts to my Pisces out there. Gang. Have fun. So that's what we have for Friday. Now on Saturn day, the day ruled by the root chakra, because you know Saturn rules over the root chakra. There's the challenges that we receive in our space that give us the discipline, the order, the survival of self that we need. And we love it here, right? We have a tendency to internalize Saturn experiences as traumas. You know, when you go to therapy or you go to a root worker or a healer, whatever have you, they always have you going through to the root of the problem. As we get to Saturn, your understanding. What is your understanding? You know, that's why Saturn's understanding energy deals with 3, Bina. Because you have the knowledge, you exercise the knowledge, and you have the wisdom, you get the experiences, and it brings you to a sense of understanding. You know what I'm saying? So that's the connection between the tree of life, the astrology, and the chakras. You guys got to come to my energy awareness course, because I teach all of this in very deep detail. And if you come to me for therapy sessions, this is how the therapy sessions are broken down into your sephiros and chakras, and aligning your astrology placements in that. And then you talk to me about what you're going through, and I'll show you in your astrology chart how it aligns. And then we do some great art therapy exercises, which I love. I love art therapy. Anyway, let's get into it. So Saturn day is 5:24 9. So now we're in the day of 2-4. Now we're finding balance, wisdom, and harmony in our 4, which is our chesed, our mayat. This is our internal law. This is culture, our sense of freedom. 4 deals with Cancer energy, home and family. That's also like a foundation of things, right? And so we're finding wisdom in that balance, harmony, law, justice, truth, and righteousness with the 2. We're learning how to prioritize and value that energy with 2 on a Taurus level. 2 also deals with wisdom. So we're exercising some experiences to come to some level of wisdom on that 4, right? And that leads to 6, Tipperary, what we hold in our heart. We love it here, right? 6 deals with beauty. This is Leo energy. The heart controls the vibration of your entire body. It also controls the vibration of your, your auric body, right? If I'm angry, my heart start pounding, my blood pressure start rising, the blood is coming back and forth real fast, real fast. People can feel that in my aura, like she feels angry, or she feels sad, or she feels tired, or whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? People can feel that. My heart is, doing a lot more than just the physical. It's doing things in the non-physical realm too. And other people, places, things, situations, ideas consist that, especially if we're doing it on a collective level. So I tell people to be careful with all this invocation that's going on the internet, because it is to get people's heart rates and, auric body collectively at a certain level. And if I can get you guys collectively on a certain level of fear, anger, the thing that I want to eat, that certain entities want to eat, they like to eat fear and anger. That can make, whatever it is they're trying to get going on happen. If I want you guys collectively to be on that frequency of joy, to have your heart pumping on that type of frequency, that can make things happen. You know what I'm saying? So, be mindful of what you guys are giving your energy to, because, to get to the God, you got to go through the sun, right? Temporary. 6 also deals with your health, wellness, daily routine, moral, and integral code, as Virgo energy rules over the 6th house, right? How you organize and manage yourself, how you listen, how you speak, how you teach, how you learn. That's all 6s as well. 6 deals with equality, the give and take of the things, right? Reap what you sow, because so like you're going to reap it. We're going to take that 6 and we're going to enforce it, because we're in the month of 5. We're in the month of enforcement. We're in the month of Heracahudi. This is Jabora, which is the celestial enforcer, enforcing our internal law, right? So when we enforce the 6, it brings us to 11. It brings us to the space of mastery. Of course, when I enforce my moral and integral code and how I organize myself, when I enforce my Tipperef, my confidence and courageousness, my heart, you know what I'm saying? Of course, that's a space of self-mastery. I've mastered myself so well that I influence other people into that space as well. So we're going to take that 11, because you guys know I don't break down my master numbers, and we're going to put that into the month of 9. I want to give birth to this mastery energy I just put together, right? And so when I put the 11 into the 9, it brings us to wisdom in our cipher, 2, 0. So now I'm back at the wisdom. Now we're on a day of 2. So Saturn is a day of 2. 2 deals with wisdom, choke my energy. This is Jupiter. 2 also deals with my yacht. 2 deals with Taurus energy, possessions, value and priorities, the balance between wealth and emotions and wisdom, facets of love and togetherness and forgiveness. So it's overall a day of 2. Now, if you want to break down the 2, you can put the 5 and 6 come together and make 2. You could put 2 into the 9. You know what I'm saying, and then come into an 11. Hey, I want to give birth to this wisdom. Put it into the year of 9, because 9 is the number of giving birth. 9 deals with the sacral chakra. 9 deals with the celestial womb. This is your side energy. This is your motion. Now we're in a day of mastery. So Saturn day can either be an 11 day for you, depending on how you break down the numbers. Are you going to start on 11 or are you going to end on 11? It's up to you. You be in that mastery or 2. So, Saturn day is a master number of 11 or a day or 2. Depends on how you decide to do the mathematics. Either way, it comes up to, choke my wisdom energy. You know what I'm saying? Master yourself so well, you become an inspiration, aspiration to other people. I love it here. I'm master 11 myself, and I have a great time. And so on this day 11/2, we start the day off with a 12% waning crescent moon rising at 3:35 a.m. and setting at 5:38 p.m. And we are in Aries on the tropical and the draconic, so mine is solar on new beginnings in this emotional self. We're at 27 degrees Pisces. We start off the day, so we're still in that 27th lunar mansion. Now we're in the 3rd house with it, so this is community and communication. Tri-City area, intellect. That's the Gemini house that we're doing this sense of home and family and emotional, new beginnings and closings towards. So, be mindful of that on Saturn day. It's a beginning and ending to your communities. You guys might be getting rid of some people and adding new people into y'all space. And we love it here, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Sunrise at 5:36 a.m., setting at 8:16 p.m. We are in Gemini on the tropical and draconic, still in that space of, intellect, learning how to be flexible and focused, community, communication, and our mind and soul. Energy exchanges still in Taurus. We're at that 9 degrees, so we're still in the 3rd lunar mansion. We're in the 4th house of home and family, sense of belonging. Graphias is in opposition of the sun at 3:12 a.m. This is the best visibility of the year. Graphias is also in the Scorpius constellation. This is also a star of Mars and Saturn, so it's still giving off that energy of enforcement of your root chakra, your discipline and order. The moon and Venus will be at minimal angle at 6:44 p.m. The moon will be 3.2 degrees north-northwest, conjunction at 8:26 p.m. The moon will be 3.4 degrees north. Observe at 3:54 a.m. with a 7.4 degree northeast separation. Venus deals with the heart chakra. It deals with the celestial designing. Venus is the letter V. That's the number 4. That's stability, creation. Venus, vortex, vibration. What does the heart do? The heart attracts, right? What you want in your space. So having some sense of intuition about that Venus, that balance between the physical and the non-physical realm, and what you want to attract in your space. That's what, I personally will focus on with the moon and Venus in alignment. Do what thou wilt with that one. The best visibility of Earthshine on the moon is right before sunrise. We love it here because that makes the moon look nice and full. It has a little blue side to it, but it's not really full. May camelopardalis reach max activity on Saturn Day as well. The asteroid comet 217P linear comet is the smallest distance to the Earth at 5:36 p.m. It's also at its max brightness. We like comets because what comets do is they flow through the entire solar system and they grab all the ancient materials throughout the solar system, and now they're bringing them to our earthly experience. Mercury and Uranus are in conjunction at 6:49 p.m. Mercury is 0.1 degrees south, minimal angle at 7:22 p.m. Mercury will be 0.1 degrees south-southeast, and no, this will not be visible at night. Mercury rules over our throat chakra, how we communicate, how we listen, how we speak, how we teach, how we learn, our moral and integral code, how we compartmentalize and label things in our space. And Uranus gives us the progressive pushes that we need to keep moving forward in our life, right? So we get those progressive pushes in our throat chakra with our scheduling and our organization and stuff like that on Saturn Day, excuse me. So enjoy. That's happening. Both of those are sitting in the Taurus constellation, so that's fun. The moon and Chiron will be in conjunction as well. Chiron is an asteroid that deals with your wounds, how you transmute your wounds into strengths, right? And we like Chiron. Everybody likes to transmute their wounds into strengths. I wonder if I have that written in more detail as well, the way I have other ones. Let's see. Let's find out. This is our capacity for healing, transmuting our pain to wisdom, insight to places most in need of healing. Chiron's location and aspects can reveal healing locations and methods. All right. So we have our insight moon dealing with our emotions, and our insight with Chiron, that space. That conjunction is at 25 degrees Aries in the 3rd house zodiac. Chiron will be at 1 degrees Aries, while the moon is at 27 degrees Pisces constellation. And then they get pretty close around 1 degree Aries throughout the day. So that's pretty cool between the tropical and the Vedic chart. They both will be in Aries with each other, creating new beginnings, ambition, and motivation to have more insight or taking more action and your wounds and healing them. And that's cool. Mercury also enters the Taurus constellation at 4 p.m. So now we have, our throat chakra, starting to move into that priorities, possessions, values, experience. So, more so learning how to organize and, take small bites and compartmentalize and label things, and our Taurus energy and our experiences should be happening there. Also give space to your daily routine because it'll start to slow down because it's moving from fired up Aries to now slowing down Taurus's fixed earth. Mercury also enters in draconic Gemini. So the spiritual experience is like, all right, you go on and have your body experience of Taurus. I'm already moving on to the air energy. Be mindful. I would focus more so on the Mercury and Taurus, and that will create like a sense of stability with that Mercury and Gemini, trying to meet the community. Your spirit moving into rooms and shaking hands and giving aha ideas and stuff like that to what your Mercury and Taurus is working on. I value this. I prioritize this. I want these physical things in my life. I want these levels of love and togetherness in my life. And then you're allowing the Mercury and the draconic Mercury and Gemini to, greet the community and have communication on that spiritual level, with that focus that you have in the constellation realm. And that's how I would use it. You know, you do what you want. So now we get into Sunday. This is a day ruled by the sun. The sun is the external third eye. Now we're getting into your experiences, your masculine energy, how your masculine energy interacts with the masculine energy around you. People be like, I'm this, I'm that. You know, the way this world works, people are, you know, the sun is your ego. You know, how your physical self interacts with the physical stuff around you. And so people have been owning it. Like, I am a Virgo. I'm not a Virgo. I have Virgo experiences. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference there. And, you know, I express all the time, get more in tune with your progressive chart. The natal chart is cool if you want to get in tune to who you were when you were born. You want to get, you know, heal your inner child and all those things like that. But if you want to be more present about where your planets are at now and how they're interacting with the planets around us right now in this moment, get more in your progressive chart. Again, the tropical, the zodiac is mindset, how we think things are. The Vedic chart is the happenings, energy exchanges, that's the body. And then the draconic chart is our spiritual experience. The draconic chart usually moves forward first, and then it's the tropical, you know what I'm saying? And then it's the Vedic. The body is always last. Sometimes the tropical is before the draconic. They go back and forth. Sometimes the mind moves before the soul, sometimes the soul moves before the mind. You know, it depends on the planet. But the Vedic chart is always last. The body always moves last. All right. So that's that there. On Sunday, this is day 525-9. So now we are in the space of 2-5. Now we're finding wisdom on our power, right? 2, finding balance, harmony, law, justice, truth. On that 5, our celestial enforcer, our power, our solar plexus chakra, our heart, because Leo rules over the 5th house, our sense of power. 2 and 5 come together and make 7. We're finding balance. 7 deals with the Libra, the Oba scales, law, justice, truth, and righteousness, interpersonal relationships, bonds, and contracts. Marriages is a big one here too with the Libra scales, right? And we move in gratitude. 7 deals with spirituality, being introverted, going inward, doing the work. 7 in supreme mathematics is God. Okay. 7 in the Netarus is Het Heru. 7 in 7 in the tree of life is Netzach. This is the celestial designer. That's Venusian energy, making things all pretty, creative. We love it here. So we're going to take that 7 that we got from the 2 and 5, finding wisdom in our sense of enforcement. We've designed with it, right? We went inward. We got into the inner God of it all. We found some law, justice, truth about our wisdom and our power, right? So now we're going to take that 7 and we're going to put it into the month of 5. We want to enforce this 7. That's going to bring us to 1 and 2. Knowledge and wisdom, which brings us what? Understanding. Because 1 plus 2 equals 3. 1 is the knowledge. 2 is the wisdom, which comes from exercising the knowledge. 3 is the conclusion or the understanding that we have come to now that we've exercised the knowledge, you know, and come to wisdom. So now we're in the space of 3. Expression, creation. Hey, Alicia, peace to the goddess. Yeah, expression, creation, emotion. We're in Bina. We're in our sense of understanding. We love it here. 3 deals with Gemini energy. This is community and communication, being focused and flexible. I use the same words over and over again, like affirmation, so you guys know what I'm talking about. And you guys can start, you know, once you see these, you know the key words already. So now we're in the 3. We want to give birth to the 3. So we put it into the 9, right? We're in the year of giving birth. So we put the 3 into the 9. That brings us back to knowledge and wisdom. So we're going to have experiences of knowledge and wisdom and understanding twice on Sunday, right? We come into the 3. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Come into the 3. All right? Mother, father, son. Or masculine, feminine, creation. However way you want to look at it, right? We get the download. We exercise the download. We come to a sense of understanding. In conclusion of exercising that knowledge I just received. Peace, bae. Peace to the God. So, Sunday is a day of understanding, expression, creation. It's a great day for my life path. 3, 6s, and 9s. You guys are going to have a great time. You guys are going to love it there. Manifest things in your space, creating things in your space. Getting into with your emotions. My 2-4s. My 2s, y'all like the, you know, y'all into the interpersonal relationships, bonds, and contracts. So getting into the creating those things, emotion stuff. It's the 1, 4, 7s, and 8s. You know, you guys that like to be in isolation. You know, learn how to exercise the 3. You know, that'll help loosen you up a little bit. So, on this day of 3, on this beautiful Sunday, the external side of the third eye, ruled by emotion energy, under the number 3, we start the day off with a 5% waning crescent moon. We're getting closer and closer to that new moon energy. Almost done this lunar cycle. Moon rising at 4:05 a.m. and setting at 6:59 p.m. We are on Taurus in the mind and soul. Tropical and draconic is Taurus. That balance between possessions and is heavier. New beginnings in the Vedic chart. So we are in Aries Constellation. So our sense of home and family, belonging, in that space of new beginnings. Aries is the enforcer. It can be a little volatile, a little violent, being a little triggered and angry. Huh? You okay to make me food? Yeah. Okay. So be mindful of that. But it is a space of new beginnings. Working on your solar plexus chakra in alignment with your emotions in your third eye, right? This is all happening in the third house, community, communication, siblings, Gemini energy. Sunrise at 5:35 a.m. and setting at 8:17 p.m. We are in Gemini on the tropical and the draconic chart. We have made it to 10 degrees in Taurus. This is the last day of the third lunar mansion with the sun, with the moon being at 6 degrees Taurus. We should be getting closer and closer to that third lunar mansion. Yeah, actually, the sun and moon are both going to be in the third lunar mansion on Sunday. So they're both in the Kritika Nakshatra, which is being pleasant, physically attractive, goal-oriented leaders, and straightforward. Some negative traits is poor money management, untrustworthy, stubborn, and impatient. So be mindful of that in your experience and inexperience on Sunday. The AM visibility of Ceres begins. Ceres is another asteroid that we experience. This is the only asteroid in Neptune's orbit. It's associated with Virgo energy. It represents mother or mother figure in your life and your own mothering role in later years. Family, relationship, food, agriculture, transitions in a female's life. Nurturing qualities you receive as a child or give as an adult. Connection of Virgo and Scorpio. What one will destroy in their path to regain what is lost. Shadow aspect can be abusive and abandonment if your Ceres is imbalanced. So be careful with that. How you over mother. May, Camilla, Partalids reach the end of their activity in the Giraffe constellation. Mercury and Pleiades are in conjunction at 8:42 a.m. Mercury will be 4.4 degrees south, minimal angle at 11:21 p.m. Mercury will be 4.2 degrees south southeast, and though it's not visible, Mercury rules over your health, wellness, daily routine, moral and integral code, how you listen, how you speak, how you teach, how you learn, and Pleiades is the seven sisters. They deal with, your wounds. This is the seven wounded sisters here. And so that is a star cluster that's in the Taurus constellation. And so, still wounds is on the forefront, whether you're dealing with Chiron or you're dealing with Pleiades, huh? So we're going to be feeling our feelings over the weekend. And that's cool. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't particularly care for feeling my feelings. But if we must, let's do it. Fuck it, right? The moon will be the smallest distance to the earth at 8:40 p.m. We call this a perigee. I also saw that it's going to be at perihelion as well because it's coming into the new moon phase. Monday, now we're in the day that is ruled by the moon. Now we're in the internal side of the of our intuitive self, of our third eye. Now we're in the internal side of our third eye. Sunday is the external side, the moon is the internal side, right? We're at 1% waning crescent moon, still in that moon and cleansing, moon rising at 4:42 a.m., setting at 8:21 p.m. Tropically and draconically, mind and soul, we're in Taurus. Vedically, we're at 27 degrees Aries. That 27 degrees brings us to, we're still in the Kritika Nakshatra as far as the constellation goes, and we're gonna be here until Tuesday, so don't worry about it. We still here. Sunrise at 5:35 a.m., setting at 8:18 p.m. Tropically and draconically, we're in Gemini. Vedically, we'll be at 10 degrees Taurus. In the fourth house of home and family, sense of belonging. The moon and Uranus will be at minimal angle at 7:42 a.m. The moon will be 4.1 degrees north-northwest. Conjunction at 11:14 a.m. The moon will be 4.5 degrees north, and no, it will not be visible. Uranus gives us the progressive pushes that we need to keep moving forward, so we'll feel that and our emotional self and our sense of belonging, home and family, and our feminine energy. Some of you guys are going to get pushed out of, where you find your comfort at. Some of you guys get pushed up out of your comfort zone, and there's nothing wrong with it. Learn how to welcome it and flow with it, because Moon is all about water and flowing. Uranus is all about being revolutionary, right? That's why Uranus, modernly speaking, Uranus rules over Aquarius energy, which is about being revolutionary and unique, right? The moon in Pleiades will also be at minimal angle at 1:25 p.m. The moon will be 0.3 degrees north-northwest. Occultation does take place. Conjunction at 1:47 p.m. The moon will be 0.3 degrees north, and no, this will not be visible because we're in a new moon phase. Remember, the day before we had Mercury and Pleiades over there. That means that Mercury is not too far off. So we could have, a lineup happening here between the sun, the moon, the sun, the moon, the Mercury, and Uranus. Pleiades too. So we're getting progressive pushes from our towards our third eye, our experience, and our experience, and learning how to compartmentalize, intellectualize that will be key. You know what I'm saying? Feel your feelings, but sometimes add a little intellectual energy to emotional intelligence, right? There we go. The moon and Mercury will also be at minimal angle at 6:49 p.m. The moon will be 4.3 degrees north. In conjunction at 7:20 p.m. The moon will be 4.3 degrees north. And no, this will not be visible. The new moon will be at 11:03 p.m. on Monday. The moon will be between the sun and the earth. Also, Saturn enters the Aries zodiac at 3:10 p.m. So now we have that alignment with Saturn and the tropical. I really think, yeah, this is the tropical chart. This is not the draconic chart, because, this is not the Vedic chart, because the Vedic chart, Saturn is still in Pisces. Saturn is at 4 or 5 degrees Pisces at this point in the Pisces constellation. So I'm still in my Saturn return until Saturn gets out of Pisces. But Saturn enters Aries zodiac at 3:10 p.m. So in our mindset is new beginnings, taking action in that root of things, discipline and order and challenges we experience in our space, and we love it here. Little militant action happening with Saturn entering Aries energy. Some of you guys keep speaking into existence martial law and being arrested and living in concentration camps. If that's the reality you want, you're going for it. Also getting into those people that escape from prison or whatever. That'll be coming back, definitely. I see it with Saturn and that Pisces, and Saturn and that Aries energy, the new beginnings. Again, this is all in our thoughts. That's why I say be mindful of your thoughts. If you want to think that crazy stuff, then that's exactly what's going to happen. But if you want new beginnings and more of a peaceful setting, that's also what's going to happen. You're in control. Hold on a second, guys. All right, we on Monday, right? Okay, cool. Yes, Saturn enters Aries constellation. So now we are on Tuesday. This is the last day. I'm gonna let y'all go. Well, no, not necessarily. We're just gonna be done the mathematics in the astronomical report, and then I'm gonna move into y'all tarot reading for the weekend. All right, hold on a second. But okay, so 5/27/9, Tuesday. This is day ruled by Mars. Now we're in the solar plexus chakra. Now we're in forcing things. Solar plexus chakra is about control. Self-control is the key. I done went on a rant with that about that many times with you guys. I'm not gonna do it today. Go back to one of my older lives. You can even go on my TikTok. I have some clips of that particular rant going on in there too. But Tuesday is about the solar plexus chakra, the space of control. Self-control is key. Enforcing your internal law. We're in confidence and courageousness. We love it here. If you find yourself trying to control things outside of yourself, you're not in alignment. That was all about control within. You know what I'm saying? It's all about within. We're in the space of 2 and 7. 2 is the wisdom, harmony, justice. 7, wisdom, harmony, justice. So if you're dealing with the 2, the energy of Mayat in that realm of things and numerology of wisdom, or you're dealing with 7, which Libra rules over the 7th house of the opus scales. So 2 and 7 is definitely a big day of balance and order. We're definitely heavy in the heart chakra, the connection between the sacral chakra, as 2 is ruled by Chokma, this is Jupiter energy in the Netarus, while 7 is ruled by Netzach, that's Venus energy on the Netarus or tree of life or whatever. So that's the combination between the sacral chakra and your heart chakra heavy. Also, a heavy alignment between your heart chakra, period, as 2 is Taurus house and 7 is a Libra house. So this is the internal, external side of the heart chakra. Where your vertex is, where your heart is at on a day of Tuesday. So enforcing what's in your heart is key here, because that 2 and 7 come together and make 9. You're going to give birth to where your heart chakra is. You're going to give birth to what you value, what you prioritize, and how you balance that. What's the truth in that? You know what I'm saying? Where's the truth in that? You know, you're going to give birth to it. So it's overall day of 9. You know what I'm saying? There's no number high in 9. 9 deals with generosity, optimism, and joy. 9 is Sagittarius energy. 9 is your sign and your moja on the tree of life. And we love it here. Either way, you're dealing with the celestial womb, the reproductive organ, and the ability to give life, give birth, come into a space of completion and wholeness. We take that 9 and we're going to enforce it, right? Because why wouldn't you want to enforce it? You made this 9 with your heart chakra. So we enforce it with the 5. That brings us to 1 and 4, right? So now we have knowledge and we're taking action on our 4. 4 is Chesed. That's Mayat on the Netarus. Chesed on the tree of life. 4 deals with culture, you know, freedom, energy. And that's where we get into the foundation of things, right? 4 deals with home and family, which seems to be the foundation itself. Is how was your home and family? What's the maternal energy like? That Cancer energy, right? But yeah, when we get into Mayat, this is your internal law. So we're taking what the 1 and 4. 1, we're taking action and we have a knowledge of that 4, right? That brings us back to 5. It brings us back to the celestial enforcer. So we take that 5 again and we're going to put it into the year of 9. We're going to get back to 1 and 4. So we have 2 experiences of 1 and 4. 2 experiences of enforcing and trying to give birth to that enforcer energy, what we're enforcing in our space. That's what we're doing on Tuesday. Tuesday is a heavy day of enforcement. Heavy. What's that? That makes Tuesday a day at 5, right? Yeah, because we got 5 and 9. It's 14. And then we take the 5 and 9, 14. So we experienced that twice. So 5 on a Tuesday is pretty cool. That's a divine alignment because 5 deals with Heracahudi. 5 is Ogun. 5 is the celestial enforcer, enforcing your internal law. On Tuesday, that's about enforcing your internal law, the solar plexus chakra. So Tuesday is a heavy solar plexus chakra day. You know, control is definitely key. So be careful with that. Enjoy that day of 5. 5 in the numerology realm deals with, you know, being adventurous and curious and satisfying your curiosities, because the numerology 5 is given more so the Gemini energy, whereas in astrology 5 is given the Leo energy because Leo rules over the 5th house. So being a thespian, being romantic, still being confident and courageous and creative too, and then tapping into your inner child, but also being in alignment with the paternal energy, you know what I'm saying? Because Leo energy also deals with father, and then you deal with 5 on the Netarus or tree of life. Now you're dealing with Aries Ogun energy, you know, the celestial enforcer. So yeah, we started the day off with a 0% new moon energy, so now we have entered into a new lunar cycle. Yay, we love it here. Moon rising at 5:28 a.m., setting at 9:38 p.m. We are in Gemini on the tropical and in the draconic chart. So mind and soul are in that communication, being focused and flexible at the same time. Siblings is a big thing here for home and family. Neighbors, people you grew up with, cousins, grandma, grandpa, whatever, what have you. Taurus energy will be at a 12-degree Taurus, so we will be entering the 4th lunar mansion, which goes from 10 degrees to 23 degrees Taurus. This is the Rohini nakshatra. Some positive traits of this lunar mansion is being ingenious, intelligent, attractive, charismatic, healthy, loving puzzles, good with finances. Some negative traits happening on this moon is being materialistic, indulgent, deceptive, critical of others, jealous, and indecisive. So be mindful of that. With the sunrise at 5:34 a.m., sun setting at 8:18 p.m. We are in Gemini on the tropical and draconic chart as well. basically we're in alignment. The sun and moon are at 6 degrees Gemini zodiac. The sun and moon are at 12 degrees Gemini draconic. The sun and moon are at 11 degrees Taurus, which is still the same lunar mansion, both happening in the fourth house, that sense of belonging, home and family, emotional, maternal, feminine energy. The moon and Aldebaran will be in conjunction at 6:06 a.m. The moon will be 9.7 degrees north. This is coming from the Taurus constellation. This gives off the energy of Mars. This is actually a red star, so you might see like a little, well, you won't see it because it's a new moon. Damn it. It would have been like a red tint on the moon, though. It gives off the energy of honor, intelligence, courage, pursuing your business, beginning of a large political undertaking. The follower star, because this star actually follows the Pleiades cluster of stars in the sky, and this is also located in the eye of the Taurus constellation too, and that star is called Aldebaran, and we love it there, right? The evening visibility of the moon begins as well, so you'll start to see the crescent moon start to reappear by later on that night. Moon and Jupiter will be at minimal angle at 6:57 a.m. The moon will be 4.5 degrees north, conjunction at 7:56 a.m. The moon will be 4.6 degrees north, and we'll be able to observe that at 9:17 p.m. with a 9.1 degree west-northwest separation. And like I said earlier today, start to get y'all little fixes with Jupiter, because we're coming to the end of being able to see Jupiter because of the constellation that it's in. But right now, but you will be able to see, this bright bluish white looking star next to the crescent moon by the evening. So our intuition is on that expansion and that abundance and that choke mind energy. So that's pretty exciting. We love it there. Jupiter, deals with the philanthropist and the humanitarian and, being in joy and all that fun stuff. Also, we have Mercury at 2 degrees, the sun at 6 degrees, the moon at 6 degrees, and this is all in Gemini in the fourth house zodiac. But it will all be in Taurus energy with Uranus in the fourth house constellation. So Mercury deals with your Mercury deals with, your scheduling details, daily routine, while Uranus is giving you the progressive pushes. The sun is in your experience, the moon is in your emotions. And that's all in the fourth house, your sense of home and family and belonging. Some different, things shaking the table in the housing situation, what you prioritize, what you value, also in your community and how you communicate those things. So that's pretty exciting. We have like a nice lineup happening under the new moon as well. So that's the mathematics and the astronomical setup from Tuesday to Tuesday. I bring you guys all the way to the end of the new moon cycle, which is pretty cool because, dang, it's almost time for the planetary forecast again, y'all. How exciting. Hold on one second, because my son asked me for some food. Hold on, let's put this stuff on the stove. Okay. So, let's talk about it while I'm shuffling the cards. From Tuesday to the new moon, the sun will be moving from 29 degrees to 6 degrees Gemini. So I guess I'll start with my air babies. So for my air babies, by next Tuesday under the new moon energy, when I speak on air, this is anywhere where air is in your chart. Sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, rising, I don't care. Uranus, Neptune, whatever. I think we got some Scorpio and Libras out there, in this world right now. As far as the outer planets, I'm not too sure about air energy. But anyway, So you guys, by the new moon, you guys are gonna have the sun, moon, Mercury, um, and Jupiter all in Gemini zodiac. So your mindset is going to be on that community communication, finding some sense of stability and how you plan out your daily routine and your emotions and stuff like that. You guys might feel like, very heavy, my Gemini babies, because you guys are mutable. So you guys got to kind of like, adapt to whatever is around you. So, with all this heaviness, it's going to be a big test, starting off this energy, which I'm pretty sure you guys feel already, with finding some sense of like focus and, this is what we're going to do and I'm grounded in this or whatever. It's going to be a lot that starts to take hits to your experience and how you feel about those different experiences. So be mindful of that. Different kind of invocations coming from different spaces, especially with Jupiter still sitting in that Gemini energy, expanding on it all, making it bigger than what it is. And then, Libra, you guys are the cardinal air energy. I don't see any placements for you guys, but just to see, what house do we have in Libra? You guys have the 9th house. Yeah, it looks like it's the 9th house with you guys. You guys have a little bit of the 9th and the 8th house in Libra. So, yeah, with you guys is like transformations, and expansion. Still dealing with that Jupiter, again, for you guys is finding that balance and harmony in that space with that. And then my other air babies, who are you? Aquarius, right? Fixed air. I'm sorry, you guys. We have Pluto sitting over there at 3 degrees in our mindset. So I do like to do I'm cool with tropical, but I really like to do Vedic. Forgive me. Hold on. Let me update this a little bit. I'll do both. I'll play around with both a little bit. They're not even gonna let me change it. I don't see it up here. Oh, there it is. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, they won't let me. I don't know why. But I like to do the Vedic chart. I don't have nothing against the zodiac though. The zodiac is cool, whatever. But it's not my go-to anymore. But I can make inferences. Fuck it. All the Gemini placements except for Jupiter. Jupiter is in Gemini on the tropical and the Vedic chart. So it's in the cardinal energy on the Vedic chart for real. Now I just gotta stare at the numbers. But the Sun, Moon, Mercury are in Taurus as well. So while the mindset is on this air energy, the energy exchanges will be a lot slower. So my air babies, I definitely need y'all to utilize the Vedic chart for yourselves. As far as the Libra goes, being the 8th and the 9th house, that's still going to be the same for you guys, regardless. I believe on the Vedic chart, y'all do have Lilith over there in Libra. Yeah, because we're at Scorpius energy on the tropical. So you do have Lilith over there, that primordial energy, finding empowerment, expansion, and abundance, and that balance with that Lilith energy. Your rebellious self is definitely key for my Libras. I know y'all gonna be wanting to, set some things on fire, whatever, what have you. Definitely in the justice system as well, with Lilith, some primordial energy coming out in the justice system, which we see. We see a lot of people finally having their day in court, and so that's a big Lilith and Libra energy too, if you guys didn't know. And then Lilith is in Scorpio on the tropical chart. So in our mindset, it's about sexuality, sensuality, power couples, and stuff like that while it's happening in the Libra space. And then again, Aquarius, Pluto is over there creating transformations, empowerment, death, and rebirth over there in our mindset of things. Mm, The North Node is in Aquarius constellation. I believe that's the only thing that we would have in Aquarius constellation right now is the direction that we're moving into. Again. Oh no, no, me too. Is that a good thing? Okay. If you like it, I love it. Okay, my bad, y'all. Okay. Hold on. One more time. I gotta get my laptop charger. All right. So yeah, my air babies. You guys find a sense of like focus and stability while we in this Taurus constellation, while y'all dealing with all that tropical stuff. A lot of stuff all over the place. You guys are definitely going to be like mentally invoked by how you think things are supposed to be versus how they actually are. So be mindful. What's that? I don't know who that is. I don't know what they're talking about. Oh. Whatever. As far as now where we at? We with water. As far as with the water, from Tuesday to Tuesday, we have Saturn. Saturn moves from Pisces to Aries. So happy Saturn return to my tropical Saturn and Aries babies. Gang, gang. New beginnings to, you know, the roots of the things in y'all life. You know, it's definitely going to happen very abruptly, mentally. Remember, Vedically, Saturn is still in Pisces. So it's still in that water energy. But you know, my people with the Saturn placements, my people with the Pisces placements, you might be feeling like some abrupt, like snatchaways, you know, especially like how you're choosing to internalize them or intellectualize them because of that tropical transition that Saturn is making. You know, Saturn is a big planet, it's a hefty planet, and it got a lot of satellites around it, it got some rings around it, so that's definitely going to be a hefty switch. going from that deep waters to the new beginnings of fire, cardinal, taking action in that space. Okay. So you guys are definitely going to feel that mentally. But again, like I said, be mindful because, you know, in the physical space, we still have Saturn sitting in the cardinal Pisces energy, still closing and making endings while your mindset is on the new beginnings. What else do I have in the waters? Yeah. As far as was the Scorpio goes, we talked about Lilith being in Scorpio, but also being in Libra energy on the Vedic chart of things. So, you know, the primordial energy happening in that space of transformation in our mindset while it's going towards interpersonal relationships, bonds and contracts, law and order. The MC line is also in Scorpio. So we have the line of success, achievements happening in that Scorpius energy, transformation and empowerment as well. So what we see, what society accepts as successful or whatever, is starting to change. We're not seeing it that way no more. It's starting to look a little ugly over there. What you see as a lot of these different things is coming into fruition on the law and order standpoint. It's like, dang, we thought that y'all was doing this and y'all was doing that. And shit was cool, and you know, this was the way to be and that was the way to be, and in reality it was some crazy shit going on. That's crazy. And then we have Cancer energy, right? I don't see anything shifting to or away from the Cancer energy, but I will say we have the 6th and 7th house, so the descending line. We shift into, you know, between the descending line and the so we go from the descending line being in Cancer energy between the 6th and 7th house to the 5th and 6th house being Cancer energy. So descending line is the sense of belonging. Not sense of belonging, that's the 4th house. 7th house is that balance. That's the Libra energy of give and take. I belong here, and I'm also putting forth the energy, the give and receive. 6th house deals with the details, the and putting that into your details. And then we move from, you know, that being about the interpersonal relationships to being in detail about ourselves, because 5th house is Leo, and that's more self-centered. So that balance, you know, between nurturing self and nurturing your interpersonal relationships is definitely here for the water energy. So between water and Pisces being between the first, the third, no, the first and the second house. Oh, so it's a lot of like me and we happening with my water babies. Whether Pisces with the 1st and 2nd house, Cancer with the 6th, 7th, and the 5th, you know, transition, and then Scorpius energy between the 9th and the 10th. It's a lot of it's a transition between the me and we. How I feel about myself, the wisdom I have about myself, the joy and all those things, and how I'm like inputting it into the community or my interpersonal relationships, or, you know, what is that? The 7th house, still interpersonal relationships. So still that okay, so that's what y'all doing. Me and we to my water babies, me to the we back to the me, having that balance between the two, the how you nurture the two. You know, if you feel yourself giving more to the we than the me, then it's time to recalibrate. If you feel yourself giving more to the me than the we, also recalibrate. We get into my earth babies, you know, you guys are dealing with a lot of transitions. A lot of energy is moving out from the earth into air energy. So you got the sun and Mercury make their transition, you know, tropically speaking. Now on the Vedic chart, we're still in earth. So Taurus, you guys, your mindset is going to shift. It's going to get impatient. It's going to be moving quicker. It's going to be, you know, a little fickle and all over the place. But remember, the energy exchanges, the body is still in that fixed earth of Taurus energy as we deal with that shift of the sun and Mercury going from Taurus to Gemini over the next 7 days, right? So our experiences and our schedule, our daily routine and our experiences is going from that fixed earth energy to like, okay, now I got options. Now I'm moving around. Now I'm being intellectual. Now I want to know a little bit of everything. This, that, and the third. So be, you know, aware that your body is still in that fixed earth. We also still have Uranus over here giving us the progressive pushes. We stay at 27 degrees the entire time, which is cool because even during the lineup on the 27th of the month, Uranus will still be at 27 degrees in Taurus energy. So it's definitely in alignment with that 2 and 7, which brings us 9, giving birth. So the progressive pushes are definitely going to be strong in that lineup on Tuesday, with especially with my Earth babies, with what you prioritize, what you value, in your experiences, because Uranus is also in Taurus energy on the Vedic chart as well, and not just in your tropical chart. And the IC line is ruled by Taurus as well. So you guys got the fourth house of nurturing. So a lot of nurturing happening to the earth babies. You guys learn how to nurture yourself, be more in tune with your emotional self, come out of the physical, come out of the material a little bit more, and get more into the mindset and stuff like that. That's very important. And so, as far as my, hold on a second. I'm mad it won't let me do video so I can see it. Excuse me, can you explain how to solve a quadratic with the simplest radical form? A quadratic equation? Like 2x to the third plus 2x to the second plus x equals y or some shit? When you break it into like two parentheses? Is that what you're asking me? You asked me for math help? I can help you with that. I'm a teacher in real life. Was that you trying to be funny? Because it didn't work. Anyway. Okay. Sarcasm. Virgo energy. Virgo is mutable, right? We have the MC line. Nope, that's Scorpio. We don't have too much in Virgo. The vertex on the new moon on the 27th will be in Virgo, on the Virgo tropically speaking. So mindset will be on that daily routine. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the sixth house being in Cancer with nurturing that Virgo energy. So we'll actually have the eighth house of transformations and empowerment in the seventh house of interpersonal relationships. So empowerment and law and justice is definitely on Virgo. Things we do on a daily routine, what we're learning about, what we're speaking on, is going to be in alignment between that Libra Scorpius energy. We do have the South Node there, so what we've always known to be true, what we've always thought is in that space. And again, reminding you guys, the North Node is pushing us more towards that Pisces energy. So, we're starting to see the illusions and the things are starting to, all the things hidden beneath the horizon, and that's beyond the five senses and stuff are starting to come out into the woodworks or whatever. So we see a lot of that happening, and that's what's in opposition of those Virgo placements. And then we have Capricorn, of course. We don't have any placements in Capricorn because this is not winter time. But we do have the 11th and the 12th house over there. So we start off with the 12th house and the first house being in Capricorn. So we have that house of endings and the house of beginnings and that Capricorn energy dealing with the challenges that we experience in our space. And then we move into the 11th and the 12th house, which is Aquarius energy being revolutionary, unique, and then utilizing that revolutionary energy to create endings and getting beneath the horizon and getting into our subconscious and our dreams and stuff like that. So, and that's all happening in the Capricorn space, being a hard worker, slow and steady, dealing with the challenges. Long-term planning is heavy there as well. So that's what you guys Capricorns, y'all gonna be focused on. That's what the Capricorn energy is on, endings and beginnings in you guys spaces, which is very exciting. So again, my Taurus babies, you guys coming into nurturing space, getting more in tune with your emotions and your connectivity with your community is heavy for you guys. Very important. We're more so in the non-physical. Get into the wanting phase, the wanting crescent. Get more into the crescent phase of things. We're in the non-physical. That's what you guys need to focus on, the non-physical. Y'all get caught up in the materials all the time and stuff like that. Now we got to get into your mindset and your emotions so you guys can see the connectivity between how you feel, how you think, and what you're attracting because of it. Virgo energy, you guys are in the South Node. You guys are dealing with transformations, empowerment, and law and justice and truth. So come into your law, justice, and truth so you can empower yourself and make those transformations in your space. Don't be afraid of change. Capricorn energy, you guys are dealing with the beginnings and endings. The closing is in the endings. So you guys are dealing with transformations in your own kind of way, between society and your subconscious. And then, so I did Earth, I did air, I did water, right? I did everybody. I just got fire left, right? Y'all not helping me at all. So as far as my fire babies go, Venus will be in fire the whole time. We're going from 14 degrees to 20 degrees. It's still in Pisces. Venus is still in the Pisces constellation, you guys. So our body is still in the waters. We also have Saturn starts off in Pisces but ends up in Aries energy in that space of new beginning. So that lineup between, you'll see Saturn ain't gonna creep up on Venus anytime soon, because Saturn is way slower than Venus, so we ain't gotta worry about that. Venus is gonna exit Aries before Saturn ever gets that close. But we will have an alignment between Saturn and Neptune soon, because Neptune is at a 1 degree Aries zodiac, and we know Neptune deals with the subconscious and the dreams. And Saturn deals with the challenges in that space. So some challenges will be coming to the spiritual community, in the spiritual realm of things, in our dreams. To my spiritualists, you guys, my root workers out there, you guys are going to have to come out to the forefront. We're going to need y'all more than anything to get to the root of a lot of things. Ancestors pulling up, doing the work, uprooting some things, and we see that already, because a lot of stuff is setting on fire, and it's making us come into the stories and having the conversations of what was the root of this even existing in the beginning for it to even happen the way that it's happening, right? So we have that happening there. But yeah, Saturn and Neptune coming together is a big thing. It's a big thing. So yeah, root workers need y'all to uproot some things, get into with some ancestors, speak to the community that's interested in having these conversations and coming into the root of things. If you guys want to communicate with me about your draconic chart, tapping into your Akashic records is a big thing here too. Challenges coming into that space. That's all there. We also have, I spoke on Venus already. New beginnings happening to the heart chakra, being motivated, ambition is happening here. Militant energy happening there too. That's all that cardinal fire vibes. Now, trying to do the math in my head. Because we'll still have Mercury and what are we doing? Well, we won't have Mercury in Aries no more. Mercury will definitely be in Taurus constellation by the time we get to next Tuesday, so we ain't even on that type time no more. Anyway, let's move on. Then we have Leo energy, the fixed fire sign. Mars is still in Leo. Mars is still in Cancer on the Vedic. So we're still in Cancer constellation, still in experiencing the nurturing to our enforcer, to, the solar plexus chakra energy. However, in our mindset, we're being confident and courageous, being, creative, being in our romantic thespian self with our enforcer, with Mars, our methodical self. Leo also is rolling over the DC line with, being come new moon. So we have Leo experiencing the 7th house, in the beginning and in the end. So not only do we have Mars there, but we have the vertex there last Tuesday on the 20th as well. So what we gravitated to was in Leo heavy, and I talked about that too during the mathematics and stuff. But yes, our motivation and our action space and the fire in our gut that controls our mind is definitely heavy on Leo, being confident and courageous. So if you guys are ignoring your gut, if you're not listening to your gut, it will keep getting louder and louder for you. You know what I'm saying? Because that is Mars and Leo energy. It'll make things real extra, and it doesn't have to be. I don't know what just happened on TikTok, but I think I'm being restricted now. I don't know what I said. Did I say something crazy just now? I don't know. And then Sagittarius, of course. Sagittarius energy is touching on, we start off Tuesday with, you guys got the smaller houses. So you guys get a little bit of the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th house touching Sagittarius. So y'all get, like, career challenges, Then y'all get the revolutionary energy, and y'all get societal energy, all that in alignment. Sagittarius, expansion and abundance, joy, generosity, interacting with foreign cultures and all that stuff like that. And then by Tuesday, under the new moon, the Sagittarius energy will be the 10th and 11th house. So that's definitely dealing with outside of self, being, successful, having a sense of achievement and stuff towards society. So I see success happening in foreign interactions, more of those conglomerates happening between foreign countries and connectivity. I seen, Trump going out to the Middle East. I believe he went to Saudi Arabia, and he went to South Africa and was talking to, about the white farmers down there, and went to Saudi Arabia and got a plane and was talking about the currency out there. So that's a lot of, like, Sagittarius dealing with the 10th and 11th house and how that's affecting the society. Then you have the countries in Africa, aligning with Burkina Faso, and China doing the thing. China's doing big things in other countries. So a lot of that is, what Sagittarius looks like: the philanthropy, the humanitarianism, the foreign interactions and exchanges, and being optimistic and giving and generous, joy. We're in the year of Jubilee. So it's a lot of nonsense going on, but don't let it overpower the fact that there is a lot of alliances happening and connectivity happening amongst all of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you could find happening for people wherever Sagittarius is in your chart. You having a connectivity, having conversations, having interactions, coming to a space of success, but also experiencing some challenges, because Capricorn deals with challenges as well, when it comes to, expansion and abundance in your philanthropic self. And so that's the connections between, my elements. If you guys had particular questions and stuff, you guys could have asked. But you guys can always ask, in the comments. I'm always here. As long as it's in alignment with what I'm chatting about during the mathematics, I'm cool. But let's get into you guys' tarot reading so I can see y'all out. So the theme of y'all reading is purpose. We are in ashwagandha. We are utilizing ashwagandha. We love it here. I love how there's alignment with the sun and the moon, especially because we're entering the new moon phase, which is in alignment of the sun and the moon and earth. We're focusing on the moon and the north node. So we know that the moon is going to be moving from Aquarius to Gemini, so air to air, while the north node is actually going to be in Pisces energy, at a 24 degree to 23, which is actually an Aquarius energy on the Vedic chart. So heavy on the Aquarius being revolutionary and unique and an individual, heavy, between that moon and North Node connectivity. Ashwagandha, the number is 54, 5 and 4. 5 is that celestial enforcer. 4 is the chesed, the mayat, the internal law that's being enforced. 5 and 4 come together and make 9, what you're giving birth to because of how you're enforcing that internal law. Okay. The word is purpose, finding your purpose. So between the north node and your moon, you align your moon with your north node. My north node is in Aquarius. My moon is, well, if you get into my progressive moon is currently in Sagittarius. So it's in that traveling, expansion, and abundance and foreign interactions, with that Aquarian energy being revolutionary and unique and an individual. But if you get into my natal chart, my moon is in Virgo. So being, meticulous, daily interactions and routine and stuff, being in alignment and being revolutionary, expanded, and all that stuff like that. So, you align your moon with your north node and, go with that. You got the 3 of Swords coming from, a space where, it might have been you, someone else, and like a third person situation, entity or whatever in the midst, and it created some level of wounds, probably like some he say, she say stuff. It's like, it's me, I'm in my community, I'm doing my things, and it's somebody or something trying to get in the way of me getting there. It's like a third party that's, being a little hater, doing a little whispering, trying to be the resistance in my space of me getting to where I want, from me fulfilling my purpose. We know, you guys know I'm not beat for that. We got the reverse devil card. With the devil card, you have to be mindful of your motivations and your intentions in your space, right? Be aware. Like when you're dealing with the 3, like a 3 is Gemini energy, community and communication. Even in your community, when you're dealing with that 3 of Swords, you have to be mindful. Not everybody's intentions is good. Some people be on some nut stuff. Some people got their own. Some people is not necessarily like malicious, but when they come into the circle, the round table, they have their own intentions. It's like you might benefit off of some of the stuff that I'm doing, but I'm not doing it for you, and I'm not doing it for the collective. You just so happen to benefit from it as well. You know what I'm saying? So having that sense of awareness, because like I said, for some of y'all gotta learn how to intellectualize how you feel. Coming to the root of things, especially with Saturn making the connections, how it's making it, especially with the lineup of the planets that we're gonna have under this new moon and the crescent moon, you know. Rewind back to the earlier parts of this mathematics and stuff like that to get to that part or whatever. I'm gonna start editing my YouTube videos and breaking them down. I just need a moment to sit down. I get home from work and my brain is like, yo, I don't want to do nothing. I'm done. Because majority of the stuff that I do is intellectual. I'm not really into, like, the most physical things I do is walk around and I work out every day. My energy gets drained from thinking. So it's like I get home and it's like, yeah, you can't think about nothing. But yeah, I would like to make space to start breaking up my YouTube videos so you guys know when to fast forward for this day, this day, this day, etc., etc. I think that's more fair to you guys. I'm gonna work on that. So please give me grace. At least by like the next lunar cycle, I should be able to do that. But yeah. Anyway, moving forward, be mindful. Not everybody's intentions is good, but also you don't want to walk around with a callous in your heart, thinking everybody gonna do you how this person did you when the devil card was upright. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful of your intentions. Be mindful of the intentions around you. Just don't take anything too personally. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna do that by focusing on our Jabora, which is our fifth Sephiroth. This is the Sephiroth. This is the enforcer. You have an internal law. Just enforce it. And your Had 8 Sebek. That's the celestial technician, how you label and compartmentalize. This is intellectualizing. So you're going to connect your solar plexus chakra, your enforcer, with how you compartmentalize different things in your space, your intellectual self. You know what I'm saying? I have these things labeled as certain type of things. You know, everybody not for everything. You know what I'm saying? I know when we meet people in our life, especially our romantic partners, you know, if you guys are early in dating and stuff, you meet somebody, you're like, you're going to be my everything and I want to be your everything. Well, that's not fair to you and that's not fair to that person. You know what I'm saying? You still need friends. You still need a confidant. You still need somebody to do business with. You still need somebody to get engaged in creative activities. You still need somebody, like if you're a parent, to do the mommy stuff or do the daddy stuff. You still need somebody to play sports with. It's still like a community that you require, that you desire. You can't just pour everything into one person and expect that one person to be able to pour and be everything to you. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair. So when you learn how to compartmentalize people and say, hey, you're good at this, but you're not somebody I would tell my personal business to. And hey, you're good with me telling you my personal business, but I wouldn't come to you for mothering advice because you fucking suck, or you don't have no kids, or, you know, you're good for this, but I wouldn't come to you for any romantic advice because blah, blah, blah. Learn how to compartmentalize and label stuff, you know what I'm saying? Without it coming from a callous of your heart, but being, you know, and enforce that in your space, and that'll help you intellectualize. Also, acceptance in your root chakra, acceptance for the challenges, acceptance for who you are and what you're good at and how good you are at it. This is the root chakra card. This deals with the challenges that come into your space to help you, you know, deal with the discipline and order that you need to keep moving forward. If you're not accepting the challenges that come into your space and you're not accepting your discipline and your order, it's not easy for somebody to come in your house with this energy and knock you off your shit and knock you out of your purpose. You know what I'm saying? It all takes is like somebody. It all it takes is somebody on social media say, like, you know, you write a post about your purpose, and a few people come on there and start saying some shit. Now you're over here slitting your wrist. Like, let's not be that sensitive, okay? Learn how to compartmentalize and have that confidence and courageousness in your Jabora. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the solar plexus that's what it requires. Your solar plexus chakra requires that confidence and courageousness when you are implementing how you compartmentalize people, places, things, situations, ideas, conversations, energy exchanges, all that stuff like that. You have to compartmentalize it. Like, this is for that. Now, I know you probably meant well, or you thought you were putting me on game, or doing whatever you thought you were doing when you said what the fuck you said, but and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And be able to say that without a callous in your heart, you know what I'm saying? And that comes from a level of acceptance, the acceptance of the root. And we know Saturn is making this transition, so, you know, get into with that. Mature man in the end. And we got the number 11 there. And we talked about, you know, having a day of mastery, especially on Saturn day, you know, when we're dealing with our space of acceptance. So, you know, maturity comes from this. You know what I'm saying? We become more mature when we learn how to compartmentalize, you know, these different things, and, you know, not accepting them too much to hurt our feelings and walk around. Never let nobody knock you off your square, bro. If you especially with all this energy, we got into it, especially with the earth energy, earth learning how to find a balance. Some earth learning how to deal with transformations and beginning and endings. I know that could be heavy for, my earth babies and, my air, going back and forth. Um, there's something that be in the classroom. It's like sometimes you have to change the plan, but that doesn't mean that you're going to change the goal. So if somebody comes to you because they can see something that you can't see, or they say something to you and it's kind of crazy, learn how to dissect and compartmentalize what they said. Like, Wiles, I don't like your tone. I don't like you might have been coming from a malicious point of view, or you might not have been coming from malicious. It might have been the pure kindness of your heart, and you could just see something I can't see. I just don't like how you communicated it to me. It was kind of nasty or matter of factly, or from your ego or whatever, because of who you are and how you are. You know what I'm saying? But let me take a minute and dissect what the fuck you just said to me, because maybe you saw something I didn't see. So now I need to tweak some stuff on my plan, or the direction I'm taking, the order of my steps. But I'm not changing the goal. My goal is still there. You know what I'm saying? My purpose is still there. You're not going to knock me out of my purpose. You're not going to knock me out of what I'm supposed to do. But maybe how I'm doing it can do a little tweaking, because you seen something I didn't see. I might not like you as a person. You might suck. But you still just said some dope shit that I need to, take heed to. You know what I'm saying? So having that sense of discernment, start having those kind of conversations in your head. I'm not saying don't feel your feelings, but be intelligent with how you express them. Especially in energy exchanges like that, when you already know you're talking to somebody that's coming from a devil card. You know what I'm saying? You already know that it's supposed to be coming to you like a three of swords type joint, like y'all gossiping. It's a third party, over here trying to do some nut shit. Da, da, da. Like, if you already know it's coming from that point of view, just accept it. You know what I'm saying? Be mature about it. Put it in your heart. Learn how to compartmentalize it, intellectualize it, and then enforce it in your in your space accordingly how you want to do so. You know what I'm saying? It's a game. It's a game, and the different energy and the different interactions and the things people say to you is not for no reason. Take heed to it. You know what I'm saying? Do what you want with it. Like me. Like, if I'm confused about something, I'll ask like 20 different people, and I'll still do whatever I want. But I'm still putting consideration what those 20 different people said. I might like nitpick like a couple sentences out of what each person said, and then I turn around and do what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard what y'all said, and I'm putting that in consideration, especially when I come up to some type of conundrum or situation. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember such and said, they did say this might happen. All right, I'm here now. It's happening. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying think like me or do it how I do. I'm just telling y'all this is how I go about it. It works for me. Sometimes it doesn't work for me, you know what I'm saying? But even when it's not working for me, it's working for me, if that makes sense. So, that's what I got for you guys though. Just work on acceptance so you can stay on your purpose, stay on your square. Don't let nobody smack you off, because in this Gemini energy it's definitely gonna be a lot. Especially my fire signs is, trying to cope with the air and the sun and the moon that we're about to, come into, and then the lineup that we have happening in air. Once upon a time, all those lineups were happening in Pisces energy, then it was in fire. Now we're starting to get those lineups in between our air and earth, between Taurus and Gemini energy, and that could be a lot, you know what I'm saying? Especially if some of you guys are experiencing that balance between the material and the non-material, and you guys have gotten so caught up in the material world, or some of you guys are so caught up in the non-material world that you guys are losing your sense of practicality and grounding, and y'all got to come back to reality. Y'all need a reality check. Some type of transformation needs to happen in your physical world for you guys to come back. And so, that could be like a big shift, and that could be a lot. And it's just, just learning how to take a breath, and again, don't let it knock you off your square. Don't let it knock you off your confidence. You know what you're here for. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know what brings you joy. We have Palace making the shift. That deals with, your transform, your genius-like qualities. What you're passionate about. We have, a lot of wounds coming out, right? Between the alignments with Pleiades and Chiron. You know what I'm saying? So being mindful of that, because those placements are between Aries and Taurus energy, between the space of new beginnings and your heart chakra. So, dealing with those type of electromagnetic fields will bring a lot of stuff to y'all surface too, with how you feel about things and, the new beginnings, and how you want to prioritize those between your emotional and material world as well. And so, that's what I got for you guys. If you guys need assistance or would like assistance on reading your personal chart and aligning it with the present chart that we just went over today, reach out. This is what I do for a living. This is what I do for fun. This is my business. And I would love to give you guys a personal reading. If you guys are more so into like gematria, like the reading of your letters and the numbers in your name and birthday, or the street you live on, or the city you live in, the city you're trying to move into, the business name, or you're trying to get married and you want to learn more about the person you're marrying, last name or family name, whatever. I also do that stuff too. I do free consultations. Come to me, introduce yourself, what you got going on, what you're interested in, what you want to learn more about. I'll introduce myself and the different services and different ways I can cater my knowledge, my intellect, my passion, my gift to what you got going on, and we can go from there. That's what the consultation is about. It's just a matter of reaching out. And that's what I got for you guys today. I really appreciate y'all, stepping out. Enjoy y'all weekend. I work for the public education system, so I have a 4-day weekend, and it's great here, and I'm gonna have a great time. And I hope you guys have a great time as well. So, yeah, peace, y'all.